Hi. Hello. Welcome. Guess he was completely unorganized today and is setting everything up at the very last minute. To the surprise of probably not that many people, because I always seem like I do everything last minute. But hi, welcome. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to stream today, so I'm actually feeling up to it for the most part, so I figured I will give this a try. I should probably reset this position, because I'm looking to the left. There we go. You can tell how disorganized I am. Hi, Lego. Welcome in. How much of an angle am I at if I look at that? That's a pretty steep angle, so I should probably move this over. I'm working with a slightly different setup this time, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to like position everything. I think that makes sense. Have that centered, and then OBS is gonna be off to the left, so I'll have to look over occasionally, but still not craning my neck as much as I used to. Hi, welcome. We're doing something fun today. So the last couple weeks I've gone through the original Mario games, so we're on the last one I want to look at in this set. Now, I'm probably going to do World, and I'm probably going to do Yoshi's Island as well. Or Mario World 2, as it's commonly known, and both are part of the Advanced series as well. However, I'm probably going to take a Mario break after this because I have plans. I have game clearing plans, and I have other plans for this favorite series. There are a couple other series that I grew up with that I want to dedicate some time to. If we go in order, I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do next, but it's just a matter of biting the bullet on that, because it's a little intimidating, the plan I have, because I am stubborn and I can be very set in my ways. And if I say, hey, what if I play Pikmin Deathlist? I will commit to that. So I'm deciding if I should commit to that or not. I can beat Pikmin Deathlist pretty easily. However, should I subject a stream audience to it? Because if I'm playing by myself, no one's having to sit through the 50 million resets I do. So I might just use safe strats, or I might just say heck it and don't worry as much about keeping all the Pikmin alive. But I'd like to keep Pikmin alive because I think it's a very underrated playthrough type. Because a lot of people don't care about Pikmin deaths, which is valid. It's a valid way to play the game, and it's frankly a more fun way to play the game in some ways. You're not having to reset constantly, but it does create the problem of yeah, it's just how I like to play Pikmin. I like to keep as many Pikmin alive as possible. So yeah, if we're going in order from Mario, Pikmin makes sense. The other option is Sonic to do next, and I am tempted to do Sonic next, to be fair. But we shall see. That is a decision for future me. I also, again, really want to get started on game clearing stuff, because I meant to do that, already, in January, but I realized the one game I want to kick off my game clearing series with was Kitsune Tales, and therefore I should probably play actual Mario 3 before playing a game that was inspired by Mario 3. At least that was my way of thinking about this, at least. Speaking of which, we should probably get started, huh? It's almost 4:30 where I'm at, so I'm gonna pause the music, like so, and then we will hop over to the screen. We'll see how volume levels are and everything. I'm really happy with how this layout turned out. I don't know if I really talked about it very much, but I do really like this. It's very, me-coded, me-core, the color scheme, and everything. And I feel like everything is balanced pretty well. Like, the game is still plenty big, but you still have, social links. You have chat box, which probably almost feels like I could have made it slightly bigger, but it's fine. Anyway, we should get started, so... Alright, one more Mario game to go for now in this little series of mine, and this is actually one of my favorite games. In addition to being one of the most important games of my childhood, this is probably one of my most played games from my childhood. Specifically, once again, the Game Boy Advance version because, again, my NES broke. Like, early into my childhood, my NES. I actually distinctly remember the title screen of this game turning green, and that's basically when I couldn't keep playing this game. So obviously I was very excited to learn there was a GBA port, and it actually has a new little intro, which is nice. Establishing a little bit more story, so you don't have to just read a manual to know the story of this game. This is probably one of my most played games of all time. I used to play this game constantly, especially when I got a DS, because the original Game Boy Advance did not have a backlight. I never had an SP, so obviously I was very pumped to not be able to play the game with massive amounts of eye strain. So yeah, once I got a DS, I played this game a bunch of times. One cool thing about the NSO version is you actually have access to Rumble, because this was a Game Boy Player supported game. So any GBA or Game Boy Player game on NSO does have the extra features. The other obvious example is Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga does have Rumble. Hello, welcome on in. But yeah, we're gonna get started, I guess. I'm not sure if this will be one stream or two streams, to be honest, because this game is like kind of pushing it. Also, I got a late start today from where I wanted to be. But we should have enough time to get through most of the game. If not, we'll finish it up soonish. This version is super nostalgic. Yeah, hi GB, hi Mario, hi Nicole, the Fops is real. Yes, the Fops is real. Full Fops glory, you could say. I don't know, that seems weird when I put it that way. Let's just move on. So one cool... Actually, we'll talk about that later on. We'll just hop straight into the game. But there's actually a neat feature where instead of having like two-player, you can have a Mario & Luigi alternating mode. It can be very interesting from the perspective of like item management. But they actually play the same. Like, they don't have the different physics like from Mario 2 or Lost Levels. So yeah, this game is my childhood. I almost died straight away, which is always a good sign for a childhood game. Once again, I'm actually using the analog stick because I grew up with the GameCube controller, therefore I'm not used to playing platformers with D-pad. Don't know if you'll save for very long, your internet's been cutting out. Oh, I'm sorry. Hope your internet stabilizes soon. That's never good when that happens. I feel like I have that happen quite a bit. I am, like, not entirely paying attention, which is the story of my life. However, I do know there should be a secret up here if we fly up. By the way, this was the introduction of the raccoon power-up. So you can fly, you get this little room with a 3, because it's Mario 3. This is probably my favorite version of the game, for a very silly reason. Obviously, there are 3 main versions, and yes, Super Nintendo through All-Stars and GBA. I don't like how Mario doesn't have gloves in All-Stars. It actually throws me off for some reason. Because we're playing Mario and Luigi, this playthrough will be longer, because you have the little animations every time you swap characters, so this will cause the playthrough to be significantly longer, unfortunately. So this might actually be 2 streams, or like 1.5 more than likely. Yeah, this game is super nostalgic. This is probably my favorite 2D Mario game ever, though I also understand the arguments for Mario World. Though, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of World because I don't have nostalgia for it. I grew up with the GBA... I didn't even grow up with the GBA version, I bought it late. Yeah, just the music, the atmosphere, all of it's just really good. I really like the little voice lines. I feel like they found a good balance finally with this one of like having the voice lines to have that modern Mario touch, but not having them be as overbearing as in Advanced 1. Partly because you're not picking up and throwing stuff constantly, so they're not playing 50 million times. Now, I'm also going to say I'm not an expert in this game. So for example, we're not really going to focus on like everything in terms of like Easter eggs or secrets. This is going to be a fairly casual playthrough. However, there's like a bunch of secrets in this stage. So for example, we go down here, there's a clean heaven. There's also one in the end of this world too. There's also the warp whistle. Obviously, if you stand on the white block and then hold down, you'll phase through into the background and be able to go behind the end of the stage to a hidden item room with the warp whistle. We're not using warps, obviously, for this playthrough. Again, the only game where I did use warps was Lost Levels, because that game is rude. So I didn't really feel like I had a great chance of getting through that game warpless. But at some point, again, I would like to do like a complete Lost Levels run, because I've never actually 100%ed it. Partly because I've played the NES version, and you have to do a lot of weird stuff to actually 100% that version. You have to play it like 8 times. So yeah, that's Warp Whistle number 1. Warp Whistle number 2 is down in this castle, so we'll get that with Luigi just to spread out our item inventory a little bit. But yeah, we're not going to actually use these. So that also means we're not seeing Boom Boom. But that's fine. We'll see him plenty of times as is. Yeah, you can just fly up here and find a secret door at the end of this, and also this is a really fast level clear. So even if you're just like trying to beat the game quickly, like a speedrun, I'm sure this is faster than trying to go fight Boom Boom. There's saving also, which is nice. You can only save like a hard save on fortresses and castles. Otherwise, you can make like a temporary quick save that only works once. In terms of other things I'm not an expert on, coin houses, or like special mushroom houses tied to coins. There was a bunch of these where, like, if you get enough coins in a level, you get a special item. I am not promising getting any of these, because I, one, don't remember which stages they're all in. This is an easy one to remember. And two, I'm not like the best at this game, even though I grew up with it. So just because I like grew up with this game doesn't mean I'm like a pro gamer or anything. So I would not expect to see any of the white mushroom houses. Maybe this one, but beyond that. There's also like a special thing where there's like a coin airship where if you get like the coin counter to line up with something else, you can actually get like a special coin airship. I've only seen that like 2 or 3 times in my entire life. I've been playing this game like a hell of a lot, so if I've barely seen it, I feel like that's saying a lot. You can also get a coin from like carrying an enemy into the goal, so that's just an extra little bit of insurance there if you're not quite sure if your coin count is good enough. We did get it though. We'll pick that up as Mario since he is the one that earned it. Meanwhile, we'll truck on as Luigi. There's also a coin heaven in this level, but I don't remember where it is. Truth be told, I always get a little bit turned around here. So yeah, we'll definitely tackle more Mario games after this though, even though this is kind of like where I'll take a break with Mario. I think I'll likely move on to the 3D entries, but I'm gonna go in an irregular order with those, because if you want to go in order of, like, release, 64 would be first, but I have something in mind that would actually make sense to do Sunshine first, so I want to do 64 DS, is the twist. So yeah, by doing Mario 64, PS, that'll be after Sunshine and before Galaxy. So yeah, we actually have an extra P-Wing. by doing that airship, or the coin challenge in the World 1-4. I'm also garbage at this. Obviously you can, on NSO, do a rewind in order to easily get that, but oh well. You can also, like, exchange lives. So, like, if one person... Like, this is designed for, like, trading off, so... This works better on GameCube, I feel. Or, like, Switch than, like, on an actual GBA. But hypothetically, you could play Mario and Luigi mode like the original, but, like, physically passing off the controller instead of, like... having literal 2 controllers. I'm kind of lukewarm on Mario 64 DS, but it's an important part of my childhood. My main issue is just it doesn't control that great, though there are analog mods for that now, so it's kind of a moot point. Alright, so far so good. We're almost to World 1, or almost done with World 1 already. We got one hammer bro and then the airship, so we're making good time. Again, this playthrough will be slower by the nature of having Luigi around, so we do have to sit through the little animation every time. And we don't want the fire flower. I think I'll stick with the raccoon. And Mario's gonna be getting all of the items, apparently. That's like 2 fire flowers, isn't it? That's not great. I'm not really a fan of the fire flower in this game. I'd rather be a Tanuki or a raccoon. So another interesting detail is a lot of the transformations for the king, for the kings, is actually different than in the NES version. So, like, we have one of the little snakes from Mario Advance, which, Super Mario Advance 4, it does make sense. So these are all auto-scrollers, which is not my favorite thing in the world. I'm not a big fan of these, just because they take forever. But this one's not terribly hard, I say, as I'll probably die a bunch, because I know my luck. In general, though, this is still very nostalgic. I got really far in the NES version as a kid, which surprises me in hindsight, because this isn't exactly an easy game. Like, we were having this conversation last stream, where it's like, this game is actually kind of hard. And I feel like I don't really think about that, because I've just played it my whole life to the point where I'm just kind of used to the punches it throws. That doesn't mean it is easy, but it does mean I'm just used to it. I mean, I can say that about a lot of games, really. Like, Sonic is a good example. Sonic 2 is, like, really hard, but I'm so used to it that I can get through it no problem, except for, like, Metropolis, which... Even in, like, the current version, like, Origins, like, it surprises me how well I can get through Sonic 2 now. Though, widescreen helps with some of the cheap shots. I briefly had this fear that I was muted the whole time. But I don't think I was, at least I hope I wasn't. Okay, so Mario now has 2 Pete Wings. That's not great, to be honest. Because if we line up so Luigi has to do a flight level, we might be in a little bit of trouble. We also got a perfect clear by doing every stage. So again, you get a little fancy animation, which is nice. Alright, moving on to World 2. Mario 3 is like a weird game because it's one that I think has actually aged kind of bad in some ways. Just because it was the template for like every Mario game going forward, for better or worse, so... It's one of those things where it's like, Mario 3 does this very well, but basically every other Mario game after this point gets into a bit of a rut where you have like, Grassland, Fireland, and so on. Or Desert Land, so you hit these tropes every time. And so, like, this game being the originator of the tropes, it feels better, but it definitely started a monster in a way. Mario World is actually a unique case where it's like, most of the levels do feel very original to Mario World, theming-wise, and it is something I do respect about that game. Again, even if I'm not like the biggest fan of Mario World, but again, that's like lacking nostalgia, so nothing the game does is inherently bad, frankly. Mario World is actually an exceptional game. But it is ultimately a case of I don't have everything memorized, so I tend to struggle a lot with that game, just by the nature of, like, getting bodied by a lot of, like, the challenges. Oh, I think I'm... okay, that is kind of correct. So this is another, like, special coin level, and I completely botched that. Yeah, I completely botched that. It's fine. But if you get enough coins, you can't get a special item. I don't think it's even that good. It's like an anchor or something, which is not my favorite thing. Yeah, I missed quite a few, so we're not getting this. Again, don't really remember the exact stages that have these. I'm kind of winging it, to be honest. I meant to look up a few details about the game. I kind of forgot, to be honest, because I was running late. Yeah, everything about this is super nostalgic, though. It's also funny because, again, this is a game that, like, isn't easy. But I feel like I can fly through it pretty quickly, especially this version, because I'm like... I feel like the physics are so ingrained into my soul at this point that even trying to play the NES version now feels a lot harder. I don't know if that makes any sense, describing it that way, but... Again, Mario World's kind of the same way, where the GBA version has slightly tighter physics than the NES or the Super Nintendo version. So I actually feel like Mario World is very floaty, not floaty, but very loose. Which again is very responsive, but it almost feels too responsive. Anyway, first Boom Boom fight for real. This is trivial. Again, I feel like if you're not used to Mario 3, that is not an easy fight, necessarily. Especially the later variants that are really quite difficult. A lot of times you can just, like, one cycle. Alright, Luigi has, like, no items, so we're gonna go down here and get an item for him. God, why do we keep getting only fire flowers? Like, I could really use anything else, game. So another fun detail about this game is speedrunning, because of these little mini encounters. Oh yeah, that's another fun detail. This is the first time we've gotten hit this whole playthrough so far. But the hit system actually works different in Japanese NES Super Mario Bros. 3 versus NTSC. In the Japanese version, if you get hit, you revert all the way down to Small Mario, if I'm not mistaken. Well, in the North American version, you actually just go to Super Mario if you have a power-up. I actually don't know if that's the case for Advance. If, like, the Japanese version of Advance reverts you all the way down to Small Mario. It'd be easy to check, it's on NSO. I have the Japanese app installed. I didn't know that coin block was up there. As many times as I've played this game, you'd think I would know that, but I genuinely didn't. So now we have to break this little pyramid of blocks here. I was not lined up the pipe, that's on me, but it's fine. Again, we're not really struggling so far. World 3 is where the game starts to get difficult. The main complaint that actually comes up with Mario 3 is uneven difficulty, and I actually would echo that statement a lot. For example, I genuinely think World 3 is one of the hardest worlds in the game, but then, like, World 4 isn't that bad. That was here, right? Okay. It's a mushroom. That is not a mushroom. That is a mushroom, though, so... sure. Well, that was a total guess, but it worked out. Damn it. Oh well. We're slightly more stocked up. So this level's kind of infamous, actually. I feel like a lot of like first-time players get really stuck on this stage to the point where it becomes one of the most like iconic levels. It's actually really easy. Basically, if you're running full speed, you can get through that tornado. Otherwise, it will like send you backwards. I'm gonna eat my words, aren't I? I'm actually taking it slow because I would rather not die in a level that I was just like trash talking as not being as bad as like it appears to be. So yeah, there's a little thing called the Let's Play curse. I definitely feel susceptible to it in moments like this, where it's like, as I'm saying, oh, this isn't that bad, I immediately struggle with it, so, yeah, I should not, you know, get overconfident even if I have grown up with this game. I definitely do still struggle with a few aspects, and we'll see that once we get towards the back half. Oh, that's the wrong way, but it's okay, there's a backup strat over here. So now we have this little vine that'll take us up to a little secret area. There's not really much here, if I recall correctly, just mostly coins and a pipe, but I don't think there's any, like, major power-ups. Some of these areas actually do have, like, good stuff in them. There's a P-switch in that one, so it's, like, trying to figure out the best way to get in there, but we're not gonna worry about coins. That feels like too much work. You also have this little, like, block structure up here for another power-up, so you can actually get back to full health if you need to. So yeah, I'll be curious to see how long we go without dying, to be honest, because, again, this being my favorite of the 3/4 classic Mario games, I would like to be able to get through this game without too much headache. However, I know my luck, we're not going to get through this deathless, because some of the later stages are legitimately pretty rough. And even no amount of experience will make it, like, totally easy to fly through this game. Again, I'm playing it a little safe here. Alright. This game does feel a little bit generous compared to even like Mario 1, where it's like, if you're in a tight space like that, oftentimes you will basically get like a brief moment of invincibility, so like, you won't be instantly killed by a shell. And I can't tell if that's just like a real thing that happens or not, but it feels like there are a lot of times where it looks like I should be hit by a shell, but then somehow narrowly avoid it. I'm also pretty sure this game, in the Japanese version, might have the system of Mario 1, where if you get hit, and then get a power, like, all the way down to Small Mario, and then collect a different power-up, you only go to Super Mario. Which is the case for sure in Mario 1, but again, I'm not 100% sure if that's the case in this game as well. Also, by the way, this world is the last warp, has the last warp whistle. It's in this little secret area in the map, the top right corner. We might as well show that off, just to show all the enemies. There's like a roaming fire bro, actually, that has it, so might as well get it while we're here. We can actually kind of fly through the stage a little bit because we have the raccoon power-up. Traditionally, you're supposed to use the Buzzy Beetles to break through the blocks. With the tail, we can just break through it, no problem. I do feel like a lot of times when I play games like this on stream, I just kind of launch into like explanation mode, when it's like, I feel like I'm explaining things that are just very well known at this point, because like, Mario 3 isn't exactly an obscure game or anything. Yeah, I still feel like I'm explaining everything as if it is. I think we have a problem, actually, in terms of getting the warp whistle. I think this one actually has the hammer, which means we have a problem. I don't think we can actually get the warp whistle now because of that, unless we intentionally die as Mario on this stage, because yeah, there's no other way to swap off. So oops, I guess we're not getting that warp whistle, but basically in this upper corner, you can break that block, and get to a fire bro with the warp whistle. I think there's also a mushroom house with a frog suit, which actually would be super helpful for the next world, but oh well. I'm also not sure if we get a perfect as a result, because that does count as a... Like, does that count as a level? And therefore, will we get a perfect after this? Like, does it just count stages, or do they count the hammer, like the roaming encounters? Genuinely do not know, but that was just bad luck there. Again, not trying to be uber thorough, but I was trying to be as thorough as I could. But it's fine, no worries. I looked away for a moment, so that is on me. It's fine, this is an easy one, plus we get a fire flower anyway, which is good for the next world. Yeah, this is a case where normally I would not pass up a fire flower, or I would pass up a fire flower to stay Raccoon, Mario, or Luigi. But in the case of this, I would rather be Fire Mario because we're entering World 3. Most of the time, I would just prefer to be able to, like, float. I almost feel like it's easy mode in a way. Maybe that's probably the reason why I could get through Mario 3 as easily as I do, is because I'm just kind of used to using, like, all the power-ups and everything. Not trying to do, like, a, you know, damageless playthrough or anything. You can also use fire flowers to take out the Koopalings, but it is actually kind of difficult when the terrain is this uneven. By the way, fun story, it is actually faster to wait for the wand to fall to the bottom of the stage than jump up and catch it in midair, because the animation of Mario falling down off the screen takes longer, so speedrunners have actually timed it out to discover it's faster to let the wand fall into Mario at the end, even if it looks less, like, cool. Alright, 2 worlds down, we're only like half an hour into the stream, so I think we're making good progress, but if our progress is going to grind to a halt, it's gonna be here. World 3 is notoriously difficult. I feel like this is a genuine wall if, like, this is your first playthrough, because you have a lot to deal with. It is a water world, for the most part. There are some exceptions, and in general, I almost think this game does that occasionally, where it's like, here's a theme, also completely, like, breaks the rules of that theme. We'll see that a few times. It's not a big deal. A lot of games tend to throw in, like, a level that doesn't quite fit the exact theming of the world as a whole. It's not a big deal, but it happens a lot in Mario 3. And again, Mario 3 is, like, criticized a lot for an uneven difficulty curve compared to, like, every other Mario game. And yeah, World 3 is a massive difficulty spike if you're not expecting it. This is where a lot of people, like, game over from what I've seen and struggle a lot. I almost think something fun to do sometime would be to try to do a co-op playthrough of, like, some of these games, like the All-Stars or something, because they do have 2-player, and NSO does support that, so being able to just, like, you know, walk someone through the game who's, like, never played Mario 3 before, I think would be really fun. This is also not a very original concept. I feel it's like a lot of, like, streamers I've seen, and, like, YouTubers I've seen have done stuff like this. So yeah, not a novel concept really, but it is something I have considered. We're also going into this as, like, Raccoon Luigi, so this isn't my favorite thing. Actually, this works out. This level's pretty ground-based. I'm also playing very recklessly here by not actually grabbing the moving platform at the beginning and instead trying to just fly through as much as I could. That was probably a mistake, as you could tell. Okay, first death. That's not surprising. This level usually trips me up, it feels like. Well, we made it to World 3 without a death, so that's not too terrible, I'd say. Alright, we have fire this time, but I actually would prefer the Raccoon power for this, just because I think it is a little bit easier to navigate just by gliding over as much as you can, really. But this does give you the benefit of being able to, like, snipe enemies out of the air. Another interesting gimmick of Mario 3, or gimmick, or maybe challenge is a better word, is no level actually has checkpoints. You have to do everything, like, straight through. Which definitely does add a bit of challenge. Like, even Mario Lost levels, except for World 8, actually has checkpoints, so this is slightly more unforgiving in that regard, but most stages tend to be kind of short, so I don't feel like it's, like, the worst thing in the world, but it does come off as a little bit unforgiving. You know something else? This fortress coming up, I never can remember the solution to this one. So, like, there's a specific, like, door you have to go through. I can never remember which door it is. And it's really weird because, like, I've played this game so many times throughout my life. Why can't I remember? I mean, to be fair, my memory is just kind of trash, to be very blunt. That was almost really cool, but oh well. Almost took out the Boss Bass. So there were two enemies, Big Bertha and Boss Bass. This might be Big Bertha, actually. Actually, I don't know which one is which, now that I think about it. This is another, like, coin stage, I'm pretty sure. It might be 3-8. I don't remember. Also, the fish respawns very quickly, so even if you actually take it out, it'll be back in play very aggressively, so, I'm glad I got through that level as seamlessly as I did, because this also tends to be a bit of a wall, and one that I trip up on quite a bit. Alright, looks like Mario's fighting a Hammer Bro, so that'll be interesting. This one I think is like... The level changes mildly based on position, so if the Hammer Bro is above a tile with water, it'll be slightly submerged, otherwise I think it'll be on land. If I'm remembering correctly, because I may not be, but like right now we're on a tile that's directly above water, so I'm pretty sure that does influence the terrain of the actual level, which is a cool detail. Yeah, this fortress is weird. It's like, I can never remember which door is correct. I want to say it's like the one past the third thwomp or something, but this might be totally wrong. Alright, that is not correct. Okay, cool. By the way, every level has a timer, so yeah, we need to actually be kind of mosey in here. So that was like 1, 2, 3, and then that was door number 4. I think it actually might be further down. It might be this one? No, that doesn't feel right. Nope, that is right. I thought it was like door 6, so I think that might have been correct. There's actually a glitch on the NES version where you can enter the wrong door, and you have like a frame to re-enter the door, which will actually put you where you need to go. I don't know if that's in this version though, but it's also like a one frame trick, so it's very difficult. This is definitely a game that I would consider speedrunning, but it's at the point where it's so optimized, it would just be a for fun thing, it would not be a, you know, trying to get world record kind of a thing, because that's like virtually impossible now because of how well optimized this whole category is. Like, it's just kind of ridiculous how well optimized Mario 3 is. A lot of Mario games are like hella optimized at this point. Like Mario 1 just like got to a point where it's like 0.3 seconds off from the tool-assisted speedrun. So yeah, there's also a cool trick I want to say in this... Well, that sucks. A cool trick in this level, I think, where if you get a star, you can actually carry it throughout the entire rest of the stage. Like, certain blocks will actually change to have an extra star if you're already powered up. So again, a lot of cool details. Well, that sucks. A lot of cool details in this game, I'd say. So yeah, in general, Mario 3 is my favorite. It is definitely the one I am the most normal about, shall we say. probably of any Mario game, now that I'm actually trying to think about it. I'm trying to think of any other Mario games where I'm like this. I mean, okay, 2D I should specify, or even 3D. It's like, I guess it would probably be like... The thing is, I have a lot of nostalgia for a lot of Mario games, but they're long. This is the one I've played the most because it's only like 2 hours long, maybe 3 hours? We'll see when we get through this playthrough, I guess. But it is a case of it's so concise that I kind of feel like it's just a nice little game to go through in like an afternoon, which is, again, ostensibly what I'm doing right now. Meanwhile, like Galaxy, as much as I love it, or Sunshine, those are more of an ordeal to actually get through. Like with Sunshine, that's gonna come up because that is my first 3D Mario game and was like also one of my most played games. Blue coins and all the other nonsense of that game included, genuinely. I definitely feel like Mario Sunshine is a bit more of a commitment. Like, you have to kind of be committed to getting through that game, because it's not like a breezy afternoon game unless you're a speedrunner. Because there is quite a lot of BS in that one. Again, even as a fan, I can fully admit there's a lot in Mario Sunshine that I do not agree with in terms of like decision making by the devs, but a lot of that comes down to crunch. My full belief is the entire GameCube era was extraordinarily under time crunch, Wind Waker being the other obvious example because of how much got cut, supposedly. And Sunshine just lacks Sunshine massively lacks, like, quality assurance, I'd say. There's a lot of things in Sunshine that do not feel like they were properly tested, specifically as you get farther into the game. It feels like everything kind of unravels a little bit. Again, I will swear by Sunshine as being one of my favorite Mario games, even in spite of all of its nonsense. However, I can also fully admit, complaints about Sunshine are not warranted. So that's my, like, complicated feelings on Mario Sunshine. And I think it's good to have complicated feelings on a game. I don't think it's, like, entirely, I don't know if healthy is the right word, or the word I'm looking for, but it's like, I think it's healthy to be able to, like, play a game, be able to, like, spot the things you like and the things you don't like, and being able to actually parse through those feelings. And I feel like that is slightly complicated, just by the nature of, internet discourse kind of poisoning a lot of discussions on games where everything ends up being very polarized, where it's like, oh, this game's the best game ever, or this game's the worst thing ever, and it's just like, there's not a lot of nuance in a lot of online gamer discourse, I feel, and that is a shame, because it makes, like, a lot of things feel a lot more defensive. Like, a good example of this is Pokemon. That's a very obvious one, where it's like, I haven't played Scarlet and Violet, but I'm just gonna use that as an example. Why am I only getting fire flowers? But with Scarlet and Violet, on a fundamental level, from what I understand of these games at least, they do a lot of things right. It's just Pokemon is on an absurd development cycle that doesn't allow the developers to put the level of TLC into their games that they should. And I feel like a lot of that just ends up being boiled down to, oh, the developers are lazy, which I always hate when developers are just immediately labeled as lazy over a game having issues, because, like, it's almost never laziness, it's almost always just, they literally were not given time. And a lot of times it's like, oh, the developers don't care about fans and stuff like that. I don't like talking points like that because I genuinely feel like most developers do care about fans. It's just, they don't have time. They don't have the time or money to actually put a level of polish into the game that they probably want to either. So again, a lot of the discourse about game development, I think, is aggressive in a way I'm not really a fan of. This is probably not the best stage to be having this conversation on, because this is one that is notoriously difficult. I think this is the White Mushroom House stage for World 3, by the way. I do not guarantee getting any results from this, because this stage is a little mean. A lot mean, actually. Luckily, you can still throw fireballs from the vine, so it's not that relentless, but it is still pretty relentless. There's also a top route and a bottom route. Obviously, the bottom route is the one you have to take for the coins, which is a nice little, like, difficulty thing where, obviously, if you get all the coins, you get rewarded for that, but it is a tougher route. It's kind of like the Sonic mentality where you have, like, a hard route and an easier route. It's like the hard route might be more rewarding, but it's also inherently more, like, punishing. Do we have? We do not. Oh. Okay, so I'm not really used to doing this fortress without a frog suit. So this will be interesting. Luigi's the one who has the frog suit. So if we botch this, we can always swap over. It's also worth mentioning that a lot of the special costumes do have dialogue with the king. So for example, he will comment on the frog suit, the Tanuki suit, and the hammer suit, which is obtained in World 6. So, and then the Tanuki suit is obtained in a bunch of places, most notably, I think, World 4. The hammer suit is also one of the... Damn it, that was silly on my part. The Tanuki, or the hammer suit, is actually one of the only things that can actually kill boos, including the boo blocks here. Most attacks don't actually deal damage to boos. Typically the way you deal with boos is just stare at them, but otherwise you actually just kind of avoid them. But again, the hammer suit can actually take them out. You know, the hammer suit is something I'm actually surprised has never come back in any capacity, because it's a neat idea. And I mean, they kind of toyed with it a little bit, like there's the boomerang suit in 3D Land and 3D World. And that kind of serves a similar purpose, where it's like, you have an item based on one of, like, the Hammer Bro type enemies, but not Hammer Bros directly. We also have Bob-Ombs here, which is kind of neat, actually. I saw a video that was interesting the other day, talking about how the explosion effect goes outwards in Mario 3, but it actually goes inwards in Mario World, which is believed to be a mistake, and there are ways to, like, fix it. But it was, like, just an error with how it was, like, set up in Mario World. But it's one of those things where it's like, I never would have noticed if it hadn't been pointed out in, like, a video, just because it's, like, definitely not something I'm entirely paying attention to. Very small, minute detail, but it is always impressive how little errors can slip by relatively unnoticed for, you know, in some cases, like, decades. There's a lot of games that have small little issues that weren't really even discovered until very recently, or like Easter eggs that weren't discovered until recently. Alright, so I have the memory of a goldfish, so we'll see how this goes, because I should be able to finish this off. However, there we go, we're actually fine. But yet again, we have a fire flower. So that kinda sucks. I really wish I could get another power-up, but it's okay. A lot of the other warp pipes are just shortcuts. Basically, the way Mario 3 works is if you game over, every level stays, like, a bunch of levels reset progress, actually. The fortresses stay destroyed, and the gates tied to the fortresses stay open. So basically, the way it's set up is you still have to replay stages potentially, but the castles tend to unlock shortcuts, so you don't have to replay everything. As a result, Mario 3 can definitely take a bit to get through on the first playthrough if you're having to, like, redo stages a bunch, and obviously it might not be the most fun experience if we just get walled on the stage and have to replay everything as a result. But in general, I find that a very interesting system to still have a punishment tied to a game over, but not like fully make you redo everything. You have to redo some things, but not necessarily everything. Obviously, the biggest bummer is if you actually die on a fortress, in which case you have no shortcuts unlocked, you have to do everything all over again. You can also just jump over here. Just skip the lower section with the little flame jet. The Rocky Wrenches are also infinite. So I guess if you want points, that would be a good way to just farm points really easily, but I'm not really overly concerned. But we have Wendy Koopa. By the way, I didn't really talk about it. The first one's Larry, second's Morton, and this one's Wendy. This is the worst Koopaling fight in the entire game, in my opinion. Wendy's like a really obnoxious fight, so I'm not surprised that if we're gonna die to a Koopaling fight, it will be this one. Hey, you know what the good news is? We have like 50 million fire flowers, so we should be able to power through this without too much trouble. Obviously, the one bummer is having to actually go through the entire auto-scroller again, which is not my favorite thing in the world, so I'll probably like take a drink for one thing. Try to remember to hydrate. I am playing very recklessly because of hydration. So yeah, that could have gone a little bit better, but we lived, and also there's a power-up at the end, I think, so I'm not overly concerned about actually getting through with, like, no damage. If we have a fire flower at the end, that will help immensely. It won't make it an easy fight. This is, again, still, in my opinion, the worst Koopaling fight in the entire game, no matter what conditions you're fighting her under, but... oh, that gives you a leaf. That's weird. I thought it would give you a fire flower, because most do. Basically the rings don't go away. The other Koopaling's projectiles will go away. So the permanence of the rings makes this difficult. Also, she's really jumpy too, so that can also be a little bit annoying. Second try on Wendy is not bad though, I'll definitely take it. And with that, we are actually making very good time. We are a third of the way through the game effectively in like 50 minutes. Now, there is the problem of the worlds start to get a lot longer after this point. Also, this king looks like Mario because the island that this castle's on looks like Japan. And the castle's like specifically located where Nintendo's headquarters would be, if I'm not mistaken. I like how the hint is about the Goomba's shoe. We won't even see that for another world. A lot of the hints are like very foresight hints, like not even for anything coming up immediately, but like down the road. There were 2 warp pipes. I can never remember which one's actually progress. Is the other one. The other thing that slows down 2-player runs, and also by extension Mario and Luigi in this version, are having to go through warp pipes like this twice. The biggest example of that will be in World 5, because there's a whole ass level you have to go through twice if you're playing as Mario and Luigi, which isn't my favorite thing, but it's not too bad. Giant World, I feel like, is one of the most iconic worlds of Mario 3. It's one that gets talked about a lot. To me, it's like the calm before the storm, actually, because, like, frankly, 3 is not easy, and 5 is not easy. 6 and 7 get to, like, actually very unforgiving levels of difficulty. So 4 is kind of like the little breather stage, breather world, before things start ramping back up again. I do like this one quite a bit, but I almost don't know what my favorite world in this game would actually be. I'm legitimately trying to think now. We have a hammer that we didn't get to use for the fire bro, so we might as well use it here. This one might be fixed because it's like special. So yeah, this one I think will always give you a Tanuki suit. Since it's like a special one. Do we have any mushrooms on hand? We do not. There's almost a temptation to use the cloud here, which I'm glad I didn't because I forgot what level this was. Never mind, it died immediately anyway, so it doesn't matter. I find I play worse as Small Mario, which feels slightly opposite of what you might guess, because like if you have one hit, you'd think I'd play more carefully, but I tend to play worse because I play so carefully, I screw up more. It's like weirdly backwards. This one should be another mushroom coin stage. Another one that's a little bit annoying. I definitely timed that wrong. So our odds of getting this are extraordinarily slim. Oh, that's a lot of fish. This ain't worth it. I'm getting out of here. Never mind. Hey, remember how I said this was the combo for the storm? I might eat my words on this. To be fair, I was trying to get the coin requirement, so if I wasn't going for that, I might not have died there. I might also just be being... like... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, making excuses. So yeah, I might actually just skip the coins. One weird thing is this fire enemy here is not giant, because there is no giant version. It's only the main piranha plants that are like big. Oh, that would be helpful. I actually can still hear the timer, which is nice too. That was a very unfortunate time for that to run out. Right as I took a hit. Cool. Again, even with like 3 deaths in this world, or like 2 already, it's not a big deal because, to be blunt, I have 18 lives. And again, I feel like I'm proficient enough in this game that we're not gonna have too much trouble. Again, emphasis on too much trouble, because, again, we're already having some trouble. It's just, you know, not like excessive amounts of trouble. This level sucks, by the way, without a power-up. So we'll see how this goes. Mario World also adds the ability to throw upwards, which is very nice. Here you can only throw horizontally. So that's actually a small regression from Mario 2. Why they do that? I knew that was gonna happen. I was literally thinking I'm probably gonna die here from this jump, and I immediately died there from that jump, so... See, this is the weird irony with me. If I'm doing something that's supposedly easy, I often have more trouble, actually. Because I underestimate, oh, well, this is easy, so I'm not gonna, sweat it that much. Which causes me to screw up more. From a non-fixed mushroom house, have we gotten a single item that isn't a fire flower? I'm pretty sure we haven't. I'm pretty sure any other item we've gotten from a mushroom house has been fixed. So yeah, that kinda sucks, actually. As someone who prefers the raccoon power-up. That was dumb. I should not underestimate the screen crunch of this version of the game. Because you do have... Mario 3 is kind of complicated because there is a large UI on the NES version, so this, in terms of screen crunch, is not as bad as some games are on GBA. This does have a little bit of screen crunch, though. It's not quite matching up to what is visible on NES, even when you move the HUD to a smaller scale, and not as a large bar along the bottom. Alright, we got through that somehow. Probably more trouble than I should have had on that stage. Alright, now Luigi gets to do this fortress, which will be fun. This one's not too bad, but you do have these candles that follow you. I don't know what I was thinking there. I should have just kept moving. I thought the swamp moved more aggressively than that. That's what happened. I thought it would actively pursue a lot more. Well, Luigi's still fighting, or doing the fortress apparently. These have stun properties, by the way. When they jump, they'll actually shake the ground and you'll be immobilized. The Koopalings start having that starting with Roy, I'm pretty sure. So, World 5. Yeah, I feel like all my skill just kind of went out the window for this world specifically. I'm not quite sure what happened, because I feel like I was doing really good up until this point. I was also feeling really good about, like, getting through this game without too many deaths, but then, everything kind of went to hell. But again, I do think it is ultimately a case of me overestimating / underestimating the game, but overestimating myself. Oh, I was so scared that the mushroom had despawned. That would have been tragic. Where the hell's the block here? Because I could have sworn there's like a block to get it. Oh, there it is. This is not the easiest thing to do with a boo chasing you. It's not that bad, though. Alright, so we have to fight Boom Boom again. This one isn't great because it puts us under a block at the start, so we have to like quickly get under, out from under the blocks as soon as possible to get enough height to easily dispatch the boss. Alright, so that could have gone a lot better. Let's hope the rest of World 4 goes a little bit smoother, but my guess is it will not, because I know my luck. If I start getting overconfident, I'm gonna start screwing up again. This one has a really cool skip, I know. If you like bounce off a Lakitu at a certain spot, you can skip a lot of level, or like the water portion. Yeah, I think it's over here, where it's like if you bounce off the Lakitu, you can actually like get over a wall, or maybe it was the earlier section. Maybe I'm thinking of a different level entirely. But I know I've seen something like that in a speedrun, where if you bounce off the Lakitu like near the start, you can like skip that wall and avoid having to go underneath. Well, that went well. The power-ups almost feel more to me. Again, this might be a weird way to look at it, actually, but personally, I almost use power-ups more for extra hits, than the actual power-ups at a point. Like, Fire Flowers, it's just nice to have 2 hits. A lot of times, though, I feel like I don't get much out of the actual fire part of the Fire Flower. This would actually be a case where a Fire Flower would have been very helpful. The Cloud lets you skip a stage, by the way. I don't think I said that yet. Again, it's like, I feel like I immediately go into an explanation, like tutorial mode, whenever I stream games that I know really well. Like, I'm just kind of info dumping. But there's the irony of like, I don't feel like I need to info dump about Mario 3, like, gameplay mechanics, because I feel like everyone knows how this game works by now, but just in the off chance that someone doesn't. This world's also really short, there's only 6 levels, which feels very tiny compared to some of the others. Like, I swear World 3 had like 8 or 9 regular stages, and then like every stage, or every world past this point has like an absurd amount of levels. Which is not my favorite thing in the world, actually. That was very careless on my part. Okay, ducking immediately goes into effect frame, like, 1, if you are ducking there. Alright, did I? No, I did not. Okay, so this is where the Tanuki suit is in-game. So I guess we're getting it as Luigi, so that's fun. So, You got this. You have the ability to press down and B to turn into a statue. Why does it have a red scarf? I thought it had a green scarf in this version. Huh. Must be misremembering. Yeah, I thought the statue was different for Luigi in this. Later games actually change it entirely, so like Luigi is a kitsune instead of a tanuki. Honestly, it's kind of a shame in my opinion that Luigi's like the only character to get a unique power-up difference in like 3D Land and 3D World. I kind of wish, you know, like Peach got a different like mythological animal. I mean, I remember there was all sorts of speculation about Wonder, actually. Like, a lot of suggestions that Wonder should have different power-ups for each, like, instead of just having, like, the elephant for every character. When the first trailer dropped, I remember there was a lot of speculation about, like, what if, like, each character has, like, their own, like, animal transformation? And that, I think, would have been kind of neat, but obviously mechanically, like, what could fill that role. But yeah, I just remember there was a lot of, like, speculation about that. That didn't end up coming to light, unfortunately. As is the case with a lot of Nintendo game speculation. It's just, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they did this? And they don't do that. And it's like, oh, well, so much for that. Luigi Mario... This actually works out better. If we can actually get through both these stages without losing this Tanuki suit, we will get special dialogue. That is easier said than done. This stage is not this auto scroller is not the easiest. It's actually the slowest, I'm pretty sure, but I tend to struggle with it a little bit. I didn't bother, but the mechanic of this stage is to like make it smaller or larger using the doors. I forgot that I usually have an easier time with the larger enemies, which feels kind of backwards from what you might guess. Well, that sucks. I forgot that enemy was there. Again, for this being a childhood game that I've played like 20 times, I sure have forgotten a lot of it, because it's actually been a significant amount of time since I've played this game. The last time I would have played this game in full probably would have been... ...2017. Does that math check out? I don't know if it actually does. It's been a bit, is the takeaway, though. So, again, if I feel like, you know, despite hyping up my ability to play this game, not that I really was doing that, I'm pretty sure I was pretty open about not being the best at this game. But even then, it's like... Yeah, I'm a hidden door over here, by the way. It's marked by the coins. This actually throws you into a mechanic that you won't see again until, like, World 7, but it's a nice little, like, preview of that mechanic. It's like arrow block platforms. I never remember which pipe is the correct one here. That is... incorrect. Okay, but we got a power-up, so that's not, you know, a bad thing. Both are good options in a way, just one is progress. Alright, so far so good. Is there only one piranha plant here? Cause there isn't another one coming out of the other pipe. That's weird, I thought there were two there. But yeah, a little preview of World 7, which I'm not entirely looking forward to. World 7 is hard. If we're also gonna get stuck on somewhere, World 7 is a very likely place for that to happen. There's also hidden stuff up above. There's a breakable block in the top left. By the way, the little roto discs, the little flamey discs spinning around, those can also be destroyed with the hammer suit in World 6. I'm just playing really sloppy today, I think. But that's fine. We're getting through relatively smoothly, I'd say. I might take a break after this next fight, just to stretch, you know, get a stretch, hydrate. Since we'll be at, you know, ostensibly the halfway point, though I personally feel like that is not true if you actually do the math. Halfway in terms of world count, but yeah, no, not halfway at all, because these worlds get very long after that point. So, like, after this, I think... Actually, I think I might... I might need to take a break now. Alright, now that we've taken care of that, let's finish up World 4. You know, DK Jr. for some reason. I never understood this one, to be honest. It was like a deep cut. I'm also wondering where that sprite would have even come from, because... I'm trying to think of a game from this era that would have even had DK Jr. I was gonna say, when was the last time he even appeared in anything, and I'm pretty sure it actually would be Mario Kart Tour. Because I want to say there's like even like a pixel version of DK Jr. in that game. Yeah, for some reason, this auto-scroller is like actively slower than any other auto-scroller in the game. I don't understand why, because it just makes everything feel painfully slow. I feel like in speedruns, this is like a level where people just kind of flex a lot, because there's nothing else to do, so just like, you know, do weird jump tricks and stuff like that. Just kind of style on enemies kind of a thing, just to entertain themselves. You know, another thing about this game that's worth noting is a lot of the NSO Game Boy Advance catalog is actually color corrected, which is really nice, because a lot of Game Boy Advance games are very washed out because they were designed for like a screen with no backlight. So later on they started actually tuning games better, because, you know, the SP was out at a certain point, the Game Boy Player was an option at a point, so they just kind of kept games with their like proper color balance. Like, if you look at this game compared to Mario World on GBA, that game is washed out horribly, to be honest. I don't really like the look of that version of the game, truth be told. I don't know what I was supposed to do there. I think I just kind of... my brain just kind of shut down a little bit. There's a power-up at least, so we're not completely out of luck here. So again, part of the reason I wasn't really sweating that. This is Iggy, by the way. Is this Iggy? No. This is Iggy. Yeah, this is Iggy. Iggy's easy. Again, just like a weird difficulty, like, decline after the difficulty spike that was World 3. And then the Koopaling fights get harder at this point, but it's not too big of a deal. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I hope everyone's having an alright day today. I'm feeling surprisingly okay, given everything happening in many ways, but I feel like I'm doing pretty okay, and it feels nice to be streaming this finally. Again, I almost feel like this childhood games, like, marathon is actually very comforting right now. I'm just revisiting all these, like, very, like, comforting games from my, gaming history. Very well timed with all the chaos of life at the moment. But yeah, World 5 is another, like, spike back upwards, where this one's not easy. This game likes to throw a lot of curveballs at you, and this is definitely one of them. There's actually a secret exit in this stage. There's a way to get a whistle, but I don't think you can get it without a P-Wing. Not a whistle, but like a music box. I never get it though, because I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it because it's so out of the way, and it's also a case of like wasting a P-Wing that I'd rather save on a later stage in this world. Is this the one with the cool trick? Well, I kinda got it. Not as well as I would have liked. I would have liked to have landed on the first block, but there's a thing where they straight up, if you can catch one of those blocks, you can skip ahead to a later part of the level, which is nice. The other fascinating thing about the stage is actually home to a RNG manipulation. I think? Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't think it's the right term. What am I looking for? Basically, like a credits warp is what it is. I forget. Arbitrary code execution? I think that's what I'm looking for, term-wise. But if like you set Koopa shells to a very specific position, you can actually set it up to just straight up warp you to the end of the game. Like, the ending sequence. So that is part of a speedrun of like beating the game in like 5 minutes by doing ACE to get to the end. Again, assuming ACE is the right term for that, I think it would be. Arbitrary code execution is really fascinating to me. It's the kind of thing that I understand why it's not seen as like a valid speedrun in certain categories, just because you're skipping a lot of the game. But just the idea of if you stand in this spot, move a bunch of items a certain way, and like make very specific movements in general, that you can just like manipulate the game to take you to the ending or like later on into the game. I just find that really fascinating how that works from a purely technical standpoint. Again, genuinely fascinating. Alright, another Boom Boom fight. This game really doesn't have many bosses. Even the Koopalings are just kind of the same fight over and over again. Alright, 2 Hammer Bros, and we'll... 5-3. 5-3 is obviously one of the most iconic levels in Mario 3 because it's the home of the Kuribo shoe. Kuribo shoe is such an interesting thing because they translate like Goomba, like they give Goomba its own name, but they don't for the Kuribo's shoe, because I'm pretty sure that's like the name of the Goomba enemies in Mario in general. Again, a lot of localization choices in Mario are fascinating because they've stuck. Like, wow, okay, I don't know what happened there. My brain just was not functioning, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, what was I saying? It's interesting because, like, you know, Lakitu, for example, is like Jugum in, Japanese, so a notable example of this is the, Jugum bus in, Mario RPG, where it's like, got the initials, like, JB, I think. And you just kind of left that in, even though the Lakitu isn't called that in like, anywhere else. So again, a lot of interesting localization choices. I mean, the 90s and 80s were just full of them, to be honest. But like, you know, Bowser, for example, is just straight up known as Koopa in Japanese. Yeah, the Creep Buster is fun. You can jump on, like, spiked enemies. If you combine it with a Fire Flower, it's really nice to be able to, like, skip a lot. However, you cannot combine it with the Descent from the tail. Also, I should have taken a hit on purpose to lose the power-up, so I could actually get a running dash. So the way this works is, if you are at max P speed, you'll, like, always get a star if you can jump into the end goal. However, that's actually easier said than done most of the time, because a lot of levels end with like a warp pipe into a very short segment, so it's not like the most helpful thing in my opinion. Yeah, I don't have time, do I? Oh, wait, I do. Cool. That's like very specific timing window on that, so I'm glad that worked out. Alright, Luigi's turn to fight a Hammer Bro, and then we'll head to the tower. The tower is a very interesting level because it's one that never goes away. Traditionally, you can't replay levels until you beat the game, but this one does just straight up let you keep replaying it. And there's actually 2 variants of it too. There's an up version and a down version. Obviously, the down version is a lot faster. But to get to the second half of the world, you do have to actually climb up this tower to the heavens, which is very cool. Again, a fascinating game. Again, definitely one that I hold near and dear to my heart, to be honest. But again, I'll probably save the sentimental talk about this game for a little bit later. Again, I almost just wish I could have put on a better show today, if that makes sense. Like, you know, not bought so many stages in World 4, but at least I'm kind of making up for it with World 5 so far. But again, I know my luck. As soon as I start saying things like that, I'm gonna start screwing up more. So, and I did have the one death in 5-3, which was very weird. Very unfortunate. Yeah, there's a descent version of the stage if you have to go back to the lower half of the world. It's also slightly frustrating because if you're doing 2-player mode again, you actually do have to do this twice. So, hey, we got to see this level again already. Alright, we'll try to get through this a lot faster as Luigi. So far so good. We also had a power-up going into this as Luigi, well, more than Super. So that helps a little bit. Not a ton, I'd say, but a little bit. You also have the little micro Goombas in the blocks. It's a fascinating enemy, and I can't think of any other games with them. I'm trying to think if Mario Maker even has that. Again, it's been a bit since I've played Mario Maker. And by that I mean it's only been like a year. I never played 2 though. Mostly because I just kept waiting for a price drop, and then they basically yanked support for that game so fast that I never felt that inspired. Plus, like, I think Mario Maker in general became a lot more like hardcore than I was hoping it would be. Very much focused on like a hardcore demographic that likes, you know, brutally difficult Mario levels, which isn't necessarily what I'm into with the series. Like, I enjoy hard platformers, this should be obvious by now. However, I almost feel like Mario Maker levels enter a point of excessiveness that just kind of does not agree with me. Also, they tend to just be like random bullshit go a lot, just like tossing out random enemies and stuff that are not fair to deal with. Like ridiculous Kaizo levels, but the problem with Kaizo for me is I like save stating in Kaizo, so not being able to save state in like Mario Maker makes it a lot harder. Also, I like how you can see a tiny version of the below, of the ground part of the map from here. It's a really cool detail. The NES version also has a weird glitch where if you actually have like the airship get away, like if you mess up the airship level, you actually do run into a situation where you can soft lock the game, if I'm not mistaken. Like, if the airship tries to go to the lower half, the game can like soft lock or crash or something. I don't remember the exact circumstances of that though. Either way, we'll try to avoid that, though that's not an issue in this version, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we finally got something not a fire flower, but I think this one is also a fixed drop. It is interesting though, I do feel like these stages are relatively short. Oh. I regret speaking. Me, these stages are relatively short, immediately gets into an auto-scroller. I feel like I have some kind of talent, not as much as some of my friends, but a talent nonetheless of like accidentally willing things into existence, or at least immediately eating my words on things. This is definitely one of those cases. I don't even remember if this is like the coin stage. I don't know what the coin stage is of World 5. I don't think it'd be this because, like, you wouldn't be able to go back for the other coins. You also have these fire chomps that are really annoying to deal with. I also don't know if the fire chomps ever come back in any other game. I can't think of any, at least. Yeah, this is actually going pretty smoothly compared to how I thought World 4 was going to go, which ended up being mildly disastrous, so... Yeah, this is a good example where it's like, here you have to go around the right side to get to the fortress, but if you beat the fortress, the gate unlocks, therefore you can just go straight to, the other half of the world. So again, a bit of a shortcut, nothing overly critical. There's also like an underground section here. I might regret going here, by the way. But this is a fairly, like, obscure area, so I figured it's worth, like, mentioning. I don't remember if this is the one I'm thinking of, though. Like, if it needs, like, anything special to leave. It doesn't. We're good. I was overthinking. Okay, hitboxes can be a little wonky on the Micro Goombas, I feel. Yeah, like that was a case of we just couldn't build up P-speed fast enough to get the automatic star, just because the runway is so short. Speedrunners have a trick, though, of like if you jump frame 1 after leaving the pipe or something, you keep your P-speed. It's like very specific, though. It's like I'm not a speedrunner, I'm also playing on NSO, so you have like wireless latency, so not really high odds of hitting speedrun tricks anyway. Smooth fight. Alrighty, and we got a music box. I don't like music boxes because these enemies drop items. So like, if you use a music box, all you're doing is making it so you're missing out on an item. I'm just gonna do this to get it out of the inventory. You also got a special song, but I prefer the regular level music, to be honest. Ooh, this one. This fortress is kinda gross, not gonna lie. You have fire on the top and bottom of the stage. I forgot that one was there. I forgot that was there too. Something, something, heat from fire, fire from heat. I am not really trying to do much with my voice at the moment, though. Everyone says my voice is like really femme anyway, which is like really confusing to me because I don't necessarily hear it. And I feel like it is a mixture of like, you know, how my voice sounds in my own head. But I'm also doing highlights, so I'm having to hear my voice externally, and I still don't think I sound that femme. Also, and items bounce differently depending on if you hit the block from the left or right side. They'll go in the opposite side that you hit it from. So in this case, okay. In this case, I deliberately hit the block on the left side because I wanted the star to bounce right. Alright, second try for this one is not bad at all. I'll definitely take it. This stage is a little bit mean, so getting through it relatively easily wasn't too bad. Also, Boom Boom has the ability to fly on his second hit now, in specific stages, but we won't see it, hopefully. If he gets flying, everything gets a lot harder, so I'd prefer if we could just circumvent that, or like sidestep that entirely. Knowing my luck, just doing the flip game will be faster than going around and avoiding it. We got the one up at least. That one's here and here. I genuinely am like torn on voice training because it's like I don't feel very strongly about my voice, period. Which is both good and bad, I think. I'm just using a power-up for an extra hit because I think this level can be a little rude. And also so we can get an instant raccoon power-up. Oh, that's unfortunate. Immediately lost it. Luckily there's another one in here. This game is pretty good about power-ups, actually. Also, this is a short-ass level. I guess, you know, there aren't checkpoints, so they do tend to be a little bit on the short side. But some of these levels are like, damn, it's over already, okay. That seems odd to me. Hey, you know what isn't a short level? This next one. This level is like painfully long by this game's standards. We have an auto-scroller again, but it's a vertical auto-scroller, which is honestly really impressive for the time. This was a late NES game. But I think about like Kid Icarus, for example, having a lot of verticality, but also needing like segmented screens to achieve that verticality. Well, this just kind of scrolls upwards. So it's actually really impressive in my opinion. Again, like Kirby's Adventure is another game that was so late that it's like super impressive that the game works as well as it does. And I say that when the game lags horribly. I tried playing Kirby's Adventure, like the NES version, recently. I could not get past, like, the first level without getting massively beat up because of the input delay from just how laggy everything felt. But again, you can tell that game was really pushing the hardware, for better or worse. Mario 3 is also very laggy on NES, to be fair. Luigi has no power-ups, right? No, he has one. So we'll be fine. I don't remember this castle being too bad, so we'll see how this turns out. Alright, then we have World 6 and 7 as the last big hurdles. World 8 I actually don't think I have as much trouble with, because it's mostly just auto-scrollers. The toughest levels are like the One Fortress, and... Bowser himself can be a little bit frustrating. But in general, I actually don't think World 8 is as hard as World 6 and 7. Again, that irregular difficulty curve in action. Jump up here again, just to save myself a little bit of headache. As we go through this auto-scroller, I have a lot of plans for this series. Again, next game I'm really eyeing is probably Pikmin. I don't know if I'll do Pikmin 2 though. I don't know if I'm feeling that, like... how to put this? I don't know if I'm feeling that motivated to play Pikmin 2 at the moment. It's like, I love Pikmin 2. I will defend that game more than most. It's hard. And again, trying to do it deathless is gonna be hell, so... why was that our best Koopaling fight? This is like one of the harder fights. Again, I swear by Wendy being the hardest Koopaling fight. Like, every other one is like way easier. Next one's a little wonky too, but in a different way than the Wendy. Well, kind of in a similar way to the Wendy fight. That means getting through World 6 first, so we'll talk more about that at the end. I've also completely lost track of the ratio of Mario to Luigi for these castles. Nice, another perfect. So we are 5 for 5 so far. And World 6 is when things start to get really dodgy in my opinion. At least for me. I don't like ice physics. And this world has a lot of ice physics. So it can be very rough to get through. Also, it's a long-ass world, too. There's like 10 regular stages, which might be the highest number of any world, actually. Legitimately trying to think about that now. Yeah, I think this does have the most regular stages. I think there's, like, arguments that could be made of, like, World 8 sort of being longer, but like, airships and such are counted differently from, like, stages, so they're not, like, numbered. But again, I may also just be completely wrong. I'm pretty sure this stage has a weird glitch on, like, visual glitch because of a palette limitation of, like, a mushroom being the wrong color. It's not like, a 1-up isn't green, it's, like, pure white because of, like, again, palette limitations. Yeah, this is just kind of, even like when I'm not playing the best, which is definitely the case today, Mario 3 just continues to be like a very comforting game. Like, I might be dying a bunch, but I'm not feeling very stressed by playing this game. It's just like, I'm just kind of vibing. Maybe I'm vibing too much though, and that's why I'm dying so much, because I'm not locked in. I swear I picked up that phrase from friends, is locking in. Yeah, this one up here I think is miscolored on NES because of limitations. Again, there are arguments that could be made about what's the best version of different games, but I feel like for Mario 3 especially, this is like, you can make a very good argument that Advance 4 is the best version of Mario 3 in a way that you really can't make necessarily with some of the others. You know, something else that would technically apply to this series would be Link to the Past, which raises the question of, do I try to do something with Four Swords? Because I've actually never seen the Four Swords exclusive stuff in A Link to the Past. I've only ever seen like very brief footage, and like I know what you unlock by beating that mode, but I've never actually seen it firsthand. So yeah, that was almost really stupid. Okay, I almost, jeez, I almost got hit again, too. I'm gonna be dumb. We're just gonna drop down. I didn't remember if there was actually, like, a spike pit below, so that was probably not smart, but it worked out, so I'll take it. This room sucks that's coming up here. You have to, like, what I do is I drop... Never mind, wrong fortress, that's the next one. I'm thinking of World 7. I like how you can actually see the wings on Boom Boom, even though, you know, you didn't get a chance to fly, so you can actually still tell which variant of Boom Boom this is. Can you fly in 3D World? I'm trying to remember if there's any flying fights with Boom Boom in that game. It's been too long, I need to play both again. I say that when I've played 3D Land ostensibly, what, 4 times? Because you have to do like 2 Luigi runs. Where I've done 2 full playthroughs, including with Luigi, so I've effectively beaten the game, like, 4 times, I think. Maybe 3.5. I might have given up and downloaded a save on the second playthrough, truth be told. Oh, this kinda feels like a predicament. Alright, interesting interaction there. Thanks, game. I really could have used the power-up, but it's okay. Alright, this is just, like, not the best run of this stage. Okay. Well, I almost died there, so I guess it's better to not get a power-up if it means not facing my demise. Like, if we get through the stage without dying, I'll count that as a win. Yeah, that wasn't like a clean run, but we didn't die, so I'll take it. What's left? Got one more. Do we get one more or 2 more fortresses? This one might have 3 fortresses. Oh, I might be totally misremembering. Oh, this level sucks. This level is very hard. If we die here, I will not be shocked in the slightest, because this one tends to be a little bit of a hurdle for me. I've actually despawned this platform before, on an NES specifically. No clue how, but I've definitely done it. I'm not sure if the fire has a hitbox for the fire chomp, because I'm pretty sure I clipped the fire and they didn't take damage, so... Yeah, this is one where it's like getting P-Speed back is like very difficult. Not that I really had it to begin with, so... Again, this playthrough is much longer than it would be otherwise, just because Luigi... the Luigi animation is adding up time. I actually need to start using power-ups, not because I need power-ups, but because I'm gonna run out of room. That was really dumb. Why did I do that? Yeah, I took out the block too early. Well, that's a problem for future Luigi. I'm gonna do stage 6 next. Because I think I know what stage this is, and I want to get it out of the way now, so I don't have to sweat it later. This is not the stage I thought it was. I was thinking of the other one. This is another problem. I remember most stages in this game, I just don't remember the order sometimes. Why do I swim straight into that? Sheep. I remembered that was there, so that's something. Again, my memory isn't completely gone. It's also kind of interesting, the pattern, if you think about it, because, like, Zelda and Mario both have the same pattern of sequels. Like, Mario 1 and Zelda 1 are, like, the formula establishers. Zelda 2 and Mario 2 both are, like, very stark departures, though Lost Levels is more of a traditional iterative sequel. And then Mario 3 and Link to the Past are like, you know, back to basics kinda, like, just more of the same, like, iterating on the first game kinda sequels. So again, it's very interesting how both kind of followed the same template. I mean, Castlevania did too. Yep, Castlevania 2, Simon... What the hell's the subtitle of Castlevania 2? I'm actually trying to think about it now, and I can't remember it. I swear it has a subtitle, but I don't know what it is. Alright, that could have gone better. The Nintendo Power Guide, which I actually don't know if I still have it. I can't see from here. Also, I like how my VTuber's neck just kind of breaks on screen because of me tilting to look for the guidebook. But anyway, the guidebook actually gives every solution. So if you check like common patterns, you can easily figure out the answer because it is fixed, which is really interesting for like the flip game. I'm not even trying with the other game, and if you're wondering why, it's because I don't like it. I can never time that properly, so I'm not even attempting. 3 is Dracula's Curse. 2 was... This was a mistake. This level basically needs a power-up. Why do they do this? Oh, so hi, Freeze! Welcome on. Welcome in. Ah, Simon's Quest. Okay. So it did have to do with Simon. Thank you. It's like... Always makes me happy to find out my brain isn't completely fried. Been here lurking. Nice. Alright, one cool trick, this loops you at the start. You can actually go backwards and just immediately cut to the chase, which is nice. I don't know how well known that is, actually. Because I don't feel like I see people using that very often. Yeah, you can't just, like, skip ahead, so that's very nice. What happened to the Koopa? Oh. Oh, ×2. Well, back in this pipe. Back in the building again. That's another game I'm not really sure how to tackle for this series, is do I do Sonic Adventure again? Because that was, like, my first stream, was SA2. Like, that is a game that means a lot to me, so it would count a second time. Oh, I'm so glad I picked the right one first try. I was so scared I would pick the wrong, passageway, because, again, it's blocked off on the right side. Another option is simply use a P-Wing, but I try to save those, so... I used to always use a P-Wing there, but I have gotten to the point where I feel comfortable enough to just do the stage legit, which is nice. Character growth. Yeah, there are 3 fortresses in this world. That feels excessive. I do not like fighting Hammer Bros normally, let alone on ice. Alright. What's next? There should be a grass level coming up soon. It might be this one. Nope, it is an auto-scroller. This game really loves its auto-scrollers. This is the coin level. You basically need to get through the entire thing with a fire flower, and then melt ice at the end. Needless to say, it's very difficult because it's a very platforming-heavy level, and so trying to get a fire flower through here is not the easiest thing in the world to do. So I'm probably not doing that, but I'm pretty sure that's like the only way to guarantee getting the mushroom house at the end. I'm not even gonna try. I've died enough times for one day, which sounds really wild out of context to put it that way. Alright, this should be the end, coming up before too long. There might be a flippy platform, though. Oh, that was close. I almost clipped the fire chomp. I've actually never played Castlevania 2 or 3 in full. I've only played 1, and it was kind of miserable, to be honest. I enjoyed it as like a really hard NES game, but I definitely got frustrated. Simon's Quest would be interesting to try to do like a completely like first time playthrough on stream, but I don't know if I'd drive myself and also everyone else crazy by attempting that. It's not offensive, but it's boring. Oh. All I know about it is how cryptic it is, apparently. Like, there's a lot of weird, like, very esoteric secrets that are necessary for progression. What's the game that's kind of like Simon's Quest? Like the indie game. I don't know if that really narrows it down, but I know there's like an indie game that's like a really like gory Castlevania 2 kind of inspired game. Infernax, that's it, I think. Again, not quite my speed because of the core level, even in like 2D. But Infernax does seem like a very fun game from what I've seen. Like, some of the Easter eggs in that game are wild. Shoot, just barely clipped this hitbox on the way up. Smooth fight otherwise. I don't know if we're finishing this game in an hour. This might be the longest stream I've ever done, if I can't beat the game in an hour from now. This could be like a 3.5 hour stream, potentially. But I'm determined to beat the game tonight at this point, because we won't have much left for next time if I don't beat it tonight. I'm also feeling pretty okay, too, so that's also helpful. For some reason, my stamina is feeling okay at the moment. Like last time, like during Mario Advance, I feel like I was really dragging by the end. Partly because I was not sure what to do next. So I was just kind of struggling with, like, executive dysfunction. Hi, Icy. I really do like Chumney's emotes, they're very cute. I want a Lark emote, to be honest. I actually have someone in mind. If they open commissions, I might commission a friend to do a Lark emote. Because I already have, like, some people in mind for, like, specific emotes. Like for a head pat emote. Was it a head pat, or was it something else? I think it was a head pat that I had a very specific artist in mind already. I actually have underwater music. I don't know if that's the case on, NES. I just got pinged in Discord. I did not turn streamer mode on, so that's why I took damage there. Cause I am distracted. At least that's my excuse. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing okay today. I hope everyone's having a good Monday so far. I should not have lived, I'm gonna be real. I was not checked in enough to have survived that. If I had died there, I would have completely deserved it. But yeah, I definitely want emotes. Partly for my own benefit, so I don't have to rely on gift subs to have specific niches of emotes, like, you know, getting a random gift sub for like a hug emote. Although it was a hug emote that I have a specific artist in mind. Yeah, I'm not gonna say who, because I think it'll be funnier this way. Not funnier, but like more interesting this way to not tip my hand too soon. But there are plans I do have. Oh shit, this is the level with the secret thingy. I should have done that, huh? No, there's a fire flower right here. Okay, we're fine. I at least want to play Castlevania 3 and 4 on stream at some point, or at least try to finish those games at all. Because those I hear are actually pretty alright. But Castlevania 2 I would probably do on my own time and with a guide for my own sanity. I'm gonna clear some of this shit out right now, so I don't have to struggle against it. Oh, that gets rid of all the blocks. That's really convenient. But basically, this lets you get into this pipe, and this should have the hammer suit as an actual collectible. Not collectible, but it's like a collectible item not from Toad House. Alright, place your bets. How long until I lose this? It's not gonna be very long, based on everything else tonight. On one hand, maybe I should believe in my... Alright then. 30 seconds was a pretty good guess, as it turns out. Alright, that is very anticlimactic, unfortunately. It actually helps a lot with this next fortress, too, so not having it for this kinda sucks. I do have one in reserve, so I think I will attempt to use it here, because it does help quite a bit. No, it's not the rotor discs, it's the Tanuki that can take these out. Yeah, if you use like the stone statue move, you can destroy those with a Tanuki. There we go. So yeah, it's like, on one hand, I do need to believe in myself more. On the other hand, I know how my hubris works. Like, yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to hold on to it very long, because I've been just getting hit a lot. I've been damage boosting through a lot tonight. Very careless gameplay. I say as I just jump through all that somehow. Is there not one there? Did I take it out already? Oh, it's very helpful for this section so I don't have to fight all the boos. Alright, also the Hammer Bro is like the strongest item in the game. You can basically, like... Yeah, you can do that. You can basically one-shot a boss. Maybe two-shot, potentially. It's like, it feels like every frame that's passing through Boom Boom, it's stealing hits. So it just immediately shreds his health. It's the fastest way to kill Bowser, actually. It's just the problem of how do you get a hammer suit all the way to Bowser. Speedruns have struggled for a long time with just managing items that way. Alright, World 6 airship. Not much to say about this one. I have a really specific plan for this series. I'm trying to decide if it's a good idea or not. Sonic Mega Collection. Now, it may not seem like a big deal just playing, you know, classic Sonic games again, but I haven't played, like, non-widescreen Sonic 1 and 2 in so long. I feel like I'm gonna get bodied by them. And you have to, like, use Ryuji Naka's birthday as a code in Sonic 2 just to have like get back to where I was and then fight Death Egg Robot like with no rings and no lives. It's just like, it feels like a whole headache. So I'd probably just play Origins for at least Sonic 1 and 2. I don't know about if I do the whole Origins collection, though CD I also have a lot of memories of. If I do CD, I feel like I also need to show off a little bit of Sonic Gems. The problem with Sonic... damn it. The problem with Sonic Gems is a lot more in that game is unlockable. In Sonic Mega Collection, most things except like extra configurations of lock-on games are like flicky, or... you know, the gallery is mostly unlocked. With Gems Collection, you actually do have to unlock everything. At least from what I recall, you do. Meaning I've probably never actually 100%ed Gems Collection because I never got the Time Stones as a kid on GameCube. Nor did I ever get the, whatchamacallits, the, no, Time Stones is what is right. The other one is Robot Generators. You're not getting through unless you fully boot up each step for one a lot. Yeah, that's why I would probably not play them through that collection, but I at least want to show off the collection because it is a huge part of my childhood. It was my first Sonic game, sort of. I always gravitate. Why am I talking about this now? I'm using up material that I could talk about for a new playthrough later on. But you know, joking aside, I spent so much time playing Sonic 2, especially. I always make that mistake. I always guess the wrong pipe. It's like, I know Sonic 3 is the best one. Arguably now Mania is the best one. But I will always have a soft spot for Sonic 2 especially. It's kind of interesting. I was watching a playthrough of Sonic 3 where it was like a completely like first time playthrough. And it was kind of interesting seeing the reactions to it, where it's like they were vibing with some things in the game, like mainly Blue Sphere, which is fair since the streamers in question have like really bad motion sickness. But it's like, oh, Chow kept being like, oh well, you know, Blue Sphere is actually super easy though. And I'm like, I feel like Blue Sphere isn't that easy. It's just, we're kind of used to it because we've been playing these games for so many years at this point. But it's like seeing like a first reaction to Blue Sphere being like, wow, this is nauseating. It's like, it's kind of interesting actually. Well, I guess we're doing this flip game, whether we like it or not. It's not that easy, but you still like Blue Sphere? Oh, that's fair. I might have the hot take that I actually like the half pipe. It's overused, and Sonic 2's is not great. In a lot of ways. But I actually think I do like the half pipe, you know, overall. I'd love to play Saturn 3D Blast, speaking of the half pipe. Shit. Well, that didn't last long either. You can actually skip this, by the way. I'm not that good at the game. It's fun when you do it right, but unfortunately, there are plenty of examples of where they don't. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna get the power up. Oh no, I actually can't think of too many bad half pipes. 2's is okay, but a little bit, you know, difficult. Just, you know, motion sickness again. Plus they kind of blindside you a lot in Sonic 2, especially. Rush is okay, except the, like, ON on QTEs can be a little bit unforgiving later on. Yeah, Heroes would count, I guess. Would Chaotix count as a half pipe by that extension? This is like the soup salad sandwich argument, but for Sonic special stages. Because it's like, if Sonic Heroes is a half pipe by being a tube, that's like 2 half pipes. So... yeah, I feel like this is, yeah, basically becoming a, you know, is it a half pipe? It's a whole pipe, actually. By definition, it's just a pipe. I am thinking... Colors DS has some very... like, the half-pipe in Colors DS is actually very fun. Why'd they do that? I don't know what was going through my head at that moment. Hi Minnie, thank you for the hydration check. I've actually been doing pretty good at hydrating. She says, with like 2/3 of her tea left. Hope you're doing okay. The stage is fun. You can basically carry the star throughout the entire stage. This is the one I was thinking of earlier, actually. But I got them backwards. A later stage in World 7 uses the same concept but makes it, like, mandatory. I keep having them bounce the wrong way. Which block has it? It's this one. Finish your solo archipelago? Hey, congrats! How'd it go? Overall, I know you're having some trouble with a few of the games. I should do a solar archipelago at some point. I've thought about it. I'm actually organizing a Bizhawk shuffler. You have to kill... ooh. Ouch. That does not sound like the best, like the most fun thing. I'm gonna do something cheeky, I think. No, I'm not. I'm gonna play it safe. The archipelago is Final Mix, right? Like, it uses the PC version. So that would count the new boss, I guess. Like the one that was added to Final Mix, because... spoiler, they like to tease. Imagine having to fight like Sephiroth for Archipelago. Which, I mean, if you had to fight all super bosses, that would count Sephiroth, huh? I've never beaten KH2 Sephiroth, speaking of which. I've only ever beaten KH1. That's something I want to do someday, is KH2 Sephiroth. You also have to fight 2 War Mechs and 6 Dark Knights. There were Dark Knights in FF1? I don't remember FF1 apparently. So I'm not used to doing this without a power-up, so this is proving to be interesting. H2 was Sephiroth was the easy super boss for you? Huh, that's interesting, because I struggled a lot with that fight, to the point where I gave up on it. Though KH2 does let you prepare more, so that is one positive. Like I've heard the argument of like level 1 modes that KH1 in some ways is actually the worst one, just because like the mechanics are so unformed that a lot of things that should be not as bad are actually kind of difficult in that like level 1. But like critical mode in like KH2 is arguably harder in some ways, but you're also better equipped for it, so it almost feels easier. At least that's how I've heard it explained before. Yeah, you had your chaos set to not be chaos, so it gave you 2 of the hardest enemy in the game. Oh. So you didn't go to kill chaos then. Oh yeah, I forgot Stranger Paradise was a real game that exists for a brief moment. What a wild-ass video game that is. Leash has the frog, right? Okay, we'll try this. Fireflower might be better, but we'll try being a frog. I've also not played... Did I fight Lingering Will? I think I did, and I think I gave up on that too. I have finished Cage BBS's secret boss. That one hurts. Because of, like, BBS's dodge roll system is extraordinarily broken. Which means, as long as you're continually dodging, it's not that bad. But ow, that's murder on the hands. Oh, iframes don't last very long in this game, I'm discovering. Lingering Will gave you PTSD? Oh yeah. From everything I know of Lingering Will, that checks. Now we got another frog, so we can try this again. Does Mario have all the P-Wings? I think Mario has like every P-Wing we've gotten. That's not really good item management. You didn't have to go to the Chaos Temple of the Past. Or mechs were in a chest? Oh. So what you're saying is don't play Final Fantasy 1 Archipelago. Gotcha. As someone who does not remember that game, because I played it like 10 years ago. Oh yeah, I remember now. I was like feeling inspired because FF15 was coming out. I think I got delayed, ironically. I almost just died the exact way I did the previous time. I think I need a fire flower for this. I don't think frog is gonna work. No, do. But I don't know Final Fantasy 1 that well. I feel like that's just gonna get me in trouble. Hey, speaking of getting in trouble. Most FF randos expect you to remember the game or use emo tracker. Which ones have randos? It's gotta be like 1, and I think 2? Does like 8 have a rando? Does like 9 have a rando? Wheels are turning in my head, and they're very dangerous wheels. So yeah, Fire Flower was to play, as it turns out. This is going way better. But, oh yeah, you randomized the overworld. It's a big list of randomizers, oh. I swear some friends have been wanting to do an archipelago for like October, so that's like 5 months now. It's gonna happen one of these days. Any day now. But yeah, at some point I might also do a solo, or attempt a solo. I don't know what games though. I might do Slash 64, I might do Link's Awakening. Not that I know that game super well, but I'd like to learn it. If Mario Sunshine had an archipelago, I'd be curious, but I think the game is too linear for it to work very well. SA2 Rando I have done individually, so I could probably do an archipelago. I wish like 06 could have a randomizer. That might just be me being an 06 shill. Or a glutton for punishment. 1 through 10, 12, and 13. Huh. That's interesting. What would you randomize in... What would you randomize in 13? In terms of like... would you have to start on Grand Pulse? Cause like I don't feel like the game would be open enough for that otherwise. P-Wing number 1 I'm using on this stage because I don't like the stage. Trying to like look for a needle in a haystack. Like I will swear by 13 as being overhated. That game is still linear AF. Also, this stage has a really short timer. It's like 200 seconds, which is like shorter than any other stage of like this length. And it's designed to be short because it's designed to basically force you into a situation where you need to like find a specific warp pipe. They even give you a Tanuki suit, but I never take it because it's not worth it because the P-Wing is better. I'm upset about that, actually. I forgot there was lava. That comes down to screen crunch. Or at least I can blame it on screen crunch. A 15 randomizer would be interesting. I don't know how technical that would be. You know, having to use, what's that engine called? Luminous? It was only used in like 2 games. It was that and Forspoken. Forspoken is a game I genuinely want to play someday, just because I hear it's like a game. Well, 1, they patched it a bunch, and 2, it seems like it might be something I'd enjoy, but it also might not be. It's like in a gray area where it kind of checks a lot of boxes for me, but not quite. Isn't 15 always online? Square of that era, I wouldn't be surprised, but this is... I know there's a multiplayer mode, but I don't think it would be always online. I think it would be... Hey, Clockwork, I'm wondering what you're trying to say, because, it's not displaying on my end. But hi, welcome on in. Alright, second try. Oh! Hi! Hey, Roto! Thank you for the raid! I don't have countermeasures or anything like that. I only have countermeasures for one specific person who will probably never end up raiding me. Oh, you tried to post a clip, gotcha. Is it /shoutout? Is that right? Well, good time in. Let's do that, man. Thank you so much for the raid. What were you up to? Oh, you were playing Brothership, weren't you, right? Music? Okay, but like, what if you end up getting a Sunleth Waterway and like... What would be the worst place for Sunleth Waterway to come up? Like the most ill-fitting. I swear by that song actually being a bop, by the way. I swear by a lot of 13 being like actually pretty okay. Like I will fight for 13 being not completely horrific. I won't say 13's like amazing, but I think it's overhated. It's also my first Final Fantasy, so I'm incredibly biased. Why did I jump down? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's never fun when that happens. But I hope you had a good stream other than that. I used to play Brothership still. It just came out at a bad time for me. Bart. I'm not quite sure what Bart means in this context, Minnie. I don't... It's been like 15... God, oh no. Oh no, it's been 15 years since I played 13. Oh, Barthandalus, that's right. Butter Shrimp good. My only problem with Brothership is it came out at a really bad time. And I will not elaborate. Very much enjoyed it. I hear it's really good if you can put up with it. Like, the slow start. Like, that's literally how everyone seems to put it. It's like, Brothership's great if you can get past the first, like, X amount of hours. Which, hey, that makes it the Final Fantasy 13 of Mario and Luigi games, I guess. Speaking of which, we can loop it back around to that. But yeah, I enjoy Final Fantasy 13. I might have obsessed a little bit over the character of Lightning, which is probably not a surprise to anybody who knows me. that lightning would be my type. Fang and Vanille also, to be fair. I think the whole point is women pretty, is the takeaway. And that is my type. I don't know if I have specific types sometimes. Or it's just like a general. The stage sucks, by the way. I die so many times on the stage just because I play badly, like I just did now, where the star goes the wrong way. Please go right. Thank you. Also, because it's looping so much, I can't tell if I'm on the right cycle for the star either, so that's also bad. Oh, hell yeah, first try. Slow start in your first stream of 4 hours, afterwards it's been very, very good. Even the slow start was fun. Yeah, I definitely want to dig into it. Probably not on the stream, just because I don't stream enough hours to get through a 50-hour RPG and not in a reasonable amount of time that won't drive me up the wall. So I'll probably do that for my own time, but at some point I would like to finally dig into that game. This stage is mean. This is like one of the meanest stages in the game, IMO. Again, Mario 3 is kind of mean, but sometimes I forget because I've just... this game is such a, like, core part of my childhood that I just have blocked out how obnoxious a lot of the levels are if you're not used to it. Mario needs a weed whacker, definitely. Yeah, I know that's why a lot of people have been really vibing with Hello Kitty Island Adventure. It's just kind of needing something really, like, super chill. Yeah, hell, that's why I'm kind of, like, wanting to restart my Animal Crossing town. It's just needing something, like, positive. Or, like, just something to vibe with, is a better way to put it. Yeah, World 6 does have more numbered levels. This level is actually very funny. You can actually clip through this if you crouch at a certain point, because like you have like a micropixel position or something, or like a sub-pixel position that lets you like clip through if you like crouch jump. At least on NES. Yeah, this is kind of why I've been playing so many childhood games. I was talking about this a little bit earlier, but I feel like childhood games for me have just been a nice way to like cope with a lot of things recently. Because there's no shortage of stress in the world at the moment. And it has been nice. Again, I'm in a very different place than I was a year ago, and sometimes I think about that a lot. Oh, right. Can I get this? Hell yeah. I didn't think that was gonna work, but I forgot that that's what Mario 3, like, block physics do, is they kind of push you along. But it's like, you know, being able to stream games like this, you know, having friends to hang out with during downtime. Just like, yeah, I feel like I'm in a very different place than I was, you know, in early 2024, so arguably 2025 has not been a very good year so far, but I almost feel like in some ways it's been a little bit easier to cope with because I have better, like, ways of coping than I did at the start of 2024. So yeah, I'm really thankful for all my friends. I'm really thankful for, like, family, and everything. It's just like, there's a helicopter going overhead. I don't know if that's coming through, because I do have, like, the NVIDIA noise cancellation. Yeah, no, I think it's actually working. I swear that NVIDIA noise cancellation is, like, witchcraft. It's like, again, the one use of AI that I will actually approve of, because it's like, it is very helpful, and not generative either, so that's a huge, you know, difference as well. I need a hug emote, but again, that requires, like, money to commission people. I could have... Well, that was stupid on my part. I can afford it, it's just a matter of I'm trying to be frugal. I'm probably being more frugal than I need to, in all fairness, but... better safe than sorry with this, again, the current world we live in. That's my feeling, at least. Oh hey, I didn't know that was there. I wonder if that's a case of like, because we used the star going in, it spawns a star there. Because I don't remember that being there normally. Oh yeah, there's something really dirty at the end of this fortress, I remember now. Like, you have to, like, slide under a section with a rotodisc. Like, it's really rude. There's some lost levels BS right here. Yeah, here, you have to, like, slide under the structure. You also have dry bones. I don't know how you didn't take a hit the first time, but that was remarkably smooth. I want Boom Boom, like, in a good spot. I almost completely biffed that at the very end. That would have been really upsetting to have that, like, clutch save earlier, and then botch it on the easy part. Wouldn't be surprised, though. My play has been very sloppy tonight. I want a head pat emote, I want a hug emote, and I want a lurk emote. Those are the top priorities for me. Because those are like emote types that I would actually use fairly regularly. No more mushrooms, so we'll just use a star, I guess. This thing is mean. There's actually an exploit on NES where if you pause, the munchers will keep moving. You got many emotes waiting for when you can use them. Yeah, that's fair. I think Silver made a drawing and offered for me to use that as an emote. And I should really ask them about that now that I think about it. We're using a fire flower just to have a extra hit going into this, because this can be a little bit mean. But we are actually approaching the home stretch finally. We got a Yoshi for some reason. And obviously there's voice situational emotes. I would like a sip emote, to be honest, because one, I need to remember to hydrate. And two, I just think it's funny. Like, I really like sassy sip emotes. Like, when you can just feel the energy coming off of a sip emote, I think that's very powerful. Alright, I'm kind of focusing on this mode, or on this stage. Yeah, this is definitely easier to control than Mario 1. You can also do a shortcut here if you quickly move this bolt over and jump up. You can get this little, like, item. Not a huge deal, you can get it from the other side, but you can get it faster that way. Alright, final Koopa, never mind. I forgot there was more. How do these airships function? Because there's like very little actual connective like platforms to some of these. You just have a little rotor, like fan attached to a little tiny platform. Some Tears of the Kingdom ass building techniques being employed by Bowser here. Alright. Also, I'm glad I remember the shout-out command. I often don't. So, I'm getting better at this, apparently. Because, yeah, like, star rated a while back and I forgot. I felt really bad after, because it's like, oh, I should have done a shout-out command. Kamek and the Magic Koopas may have enchanted. Oh, yeah, that's true. Magic airships. Yeah, that would explain it. You have 2 more airships to go after this, by the way. So we have Ludwig Von Koopa, right? Is it Von Koopa? I think it is. Yeah, that checks. Yeah, it is actually faster to let it drop. I remember partway through, it's like, oh wait, I shouldn't be doing that. I think in German, it would actually be Ludwig, if I'm not mistaken. I've heard people just say like Ludwig. Which just kind of makes you think of this streamer, who I actually don't think I've ever watched. I just know him by cultural osmosis, like, because people talk about Ludwig all the time. This is also not a letter from the princess. This is the cake is a lie. Yeah, it's a letter from Bowser. No item for us this time. A little bit of a mood whiplash, having the perfect clear screen after that. Alright, so final stretch. Again, this is a long-ass stream. Again, I was kind of like, yeah, this will probably be 2.5 hours, is now looking like a 3-hour stream. It's fine. Also, this level's like, this world is like 80% auto-scrollers. It's really slow, so not my favorite thing in the world. I also don't know who's gonna get the final Bowser fight. Mario Luigi. Kinda depends on how much I die on these stages. Like, I'm not gonna rig it, obviously, but I'm genuinely curious to see who we end up fighting and defeating Bowser with. I don't really want to leave here. This one's weird, too, because, like, you don't fight Boom Boom. You fight, like, a Boomerang Bro. Also, have we... No, we would have seen a Boomerang Bro in World 2. That's right. Big Cannon. Yeah, I am trying to figure out what I'm doing with my voice today. I feel like I'm not, like, super unhappy with my voice today, but it definitely feels like I'm not sounding as femme as I could. I also got, like, you know, a very jaunty tune for the severity of this fight, which is a little bit jarring. So I have a story. Auto-scrollers are a great time to tell stories, so I'm gonna talk about this here. I remember the first time I got to World 8 as a kid. Still, I remember. I got all the way here. I don't remember if it was with warps or with any other, you know, or like legit. Like, I don't remember how I got this far. I remember like every world in this game, but I don't remember individual levels from my childhood. So a lot of the game I definitely did grow up with. More so than Mario 2, where there's a lot of like blank spots in my history. So with Mario 3, I remember getting to World 8, specifically like 8-2, I think? Or 8-1, I think. And I was like so happy. I'd never made it that far, and then I had to go to church. So I had to turn off the game, and therefore lost all my progress. So yeah, that's an interesting childhood story. And then it took me until the GBA version to actually... And then my NES broke. So then it took me until the GBA version to actually finish the game for real. You think I sound family enough? Oh, thank you. Also, hi, Esper. Hope you're doing well. I feel like the stream's been very interesting energy-wise, because this is a game that I've just kind of been talking a lot about, like... Not even gushing about, but just kind of like info dumping about in a way that I couldn't really do with Mario 2. So it's been a very different like energy, and I think that's why I'm not like tired despite streaming for almost 3 hours. It's just I've been kind of riding that high all this time. I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna try to skip all these because Mario has all the P-Wings. You also have that little... I recognize that voice line. I think that's from Sunshine, when Bowser Jr. is kidnapping Peach and running away. So the hands are random. Famously, this is like one of the worst parts of speedruns because it's like random, so you can actually have like a perfect run sabotaged by like having to do a hand stage. I'll give you leaves though, so the first collectible leaf we've gotten because we've only been getting fire flowers. But it is a random chance, so there's a chance that we'll just skip past it and won't even have to do the level. However, I know my luck, which means, let's see, Luigi's next, then Mario. So I would rather have Mario do the airship, because this is like the worst airship in the game. And I almost always use a P-Wing. Well, that sucks. Not the worst thing in the world, but it definitely still sucks. I do feel like my overall voice tone is a little bit flat, which does make me wonder how bad my sound. If I try to like pitch up more, I think that would help. Hey! So we'll P-Wing. We have 2 left. So yeah, my strategy for this level is just mash A. Another nice thing about having the noise cancellation is it'll probably drown out some of the A mashing. At least I hope it will. Though I'm also holding my controller away from the mic. You can really tell this game runs at 60 FPS in this specific stage because the scrolling is very smooth. It's actually very impressive. Even on GBA, this is very impressive. But yeah, after I beat the game for the first time, I just kind of kept playing it a lot as a kid. I got really good at this game as a kid, and a lot of GBA games. Mario & Luigi's another one where I got stuck on the final boss. Once I actually got past the final boss, I literally, like, drilled it to the point where I could get through it no problem. So, like, Cackletta, well, I guess not really Cackletta, it's complicated. But that fight is, like, very difficult, actually. But I feel like I'm very comfortable with it at this point. Not with the 3DS version, because the timings and everything are so different, and the physics are so different for the battle system, that I do feel like I screw up that a lot, even though I generally do okay at the GBA version of Superstar Saga. Like, if I stream the game, it'll obviously be the GBA version, by the nature of, like, not having a good way to capture 3DS. But also familiarity, because, if we play the GBA version, I can blast through that game in, like, 2.5 streams, maybe 3 streams. It'll probably be, like, 10 hours, but, yeah, about 3 streams. If I push it. Superstar Saga is a remarkably short game, by RPG standards, and especially from what it sounds like, compared to Brothership, which sounds like a absolute marathon by comparison to Superstar Saga being, like, very, like, brief by comparison. This stage is stressful. Again, this is as far as I got as a kid, I'm pretty sure. Again, due to having to turn the game off, as described before. But, beyond that, this level's not that bad. Why did I almost describe this as a Christianity debuff? Of not being, of how or like the reason why I wasn't able to finish the game as a child. I feel like that's a very, like, I don't know if that's a good way to put that, actually. Alright, so there's an interesting shortcut here if you go into the sand. I'm pretty sure you can actually despawn the Angry Sun on NES if you take this shortcut route. So I highly recommend it, because otherwise you have to do, like, note block platforming while the Angry Sun is trying to kill you, and that's, like, kind of miserable. So, yeah, also you get a power-up, so I would recommend going this way, for sure. I feel like if we end up doing a raid, I actually need to ask the legitimate question of how sacrilegious do we feel like being? Which is an odd question to need to ask during a Mario 3 playthrough, and yet, may actually be a relevant question. I'm pretty sure as a kid I even got to like 99 lives. Like, that's how much I loved this game, that I just literally got to 99 lives. It might have been as Mario and Luigi both, to be honest. Max sacrilege as always. I will consider that. Plus, I just like going for confusing raid messages, to be honest. I like raid messages that raise, like, concern, like, what? Huh? I don't know why, and I don't know what that says about me as a person. Well, that sucks. Oh. If this has a leaf, we're fine. Okay, we're fine. Brief panic, but we're good. The reason for brief panic is because you can kind of take a shortcut by breaking through these. Wow, this is awkward with a star. Otherwise, you need to find like a P-switch, I'm pretty sure. Speaking of a P-switch, you actually do need to... Well, that sucks. You actually do need to find a P-switch here. Take this door, and then you just sit here for like 10 seconds. I think that block is new. I don't remember that being there on NES. Anyway, second to last Boom Boom, I think. And Mario just gotta go slide into the end. Alright. 2 stages left. I had to stop and think for a moment. This is the shortcut. This is the right pipe. So yeah, there should be 2 more levels, so it looks like we're finishing as Mario unless we die. Look how many items we have. Like, we kind of hoarded a bunch, which is like my MO for games. I've told the story before and I might as well tell it now. I don't know if I'll ever do a full FF7 playthrough, and if I do, it'll be in 2027 for the anniversary, probably. But I have a fun story about Final Fantasy 6 and 7 both. I did this in both games. So I over-prepare in RPGs. So what happened was, everyone is like, oh, the final boss of 6 is really hard. So I ended up getting Ultima. I ended up getting the 4 times magic and 4 times attack. Magitac? Or Magicite? Or whatever it's called in FF6. I don't remember the term now that I'm saying this out loud. I'll save those 10 HP potions. Otherwise, are you really an RPG player? I got like 99 of every like high potions in like 6 and 7 both, I'm pretty sure. So like the quad magic I had on Ultima, and then the quad attack I had on like the best weapon. So I was dealing like 4 times 999 twice per turn. So, you know how like Dancing Mad is like simultaneously 10 minutes long, but is also considered one of the best boss themes, like final boss themes in any video game ever? I barely heard it. Like, everyone always hypes up Dancing Mad. I don't remember like anything about the song because it didn't play very long, because I just destroyed the final boss that quickly. It's one of those things that's simultaneously like kind of a bummer, like, oh, I kind of had a suboptimal experience because I curb stomped the boss too hard, but on the other hand, it's also kind of funny. And then flash forward to FF7, where I did the Gold Saucer, like, combat minigame, like, enough times to get ribbons for everybody. For context, ribbons prevent status ailments, which is very helpful against Sephiroth. Well, that sucks. Because Sephiroth's like main attack can cause really bad status effects. So I basically stocked up on potions. I could not be hit by status effects. I was dealing a crap ton of damage. So I killed Sephiroth like by the end of the first chorus of One Winged Angel, to give like a time estimate. So like 3 minutes, I think, is how long it took me to kill Sephiroth. And again, it's one of those things where it's simultaneously maybe a little too easy for the final. Oh yeah, I had Knights of the Round. And I think I had like the W summon, so I could use Knights of the Round twice per turn, or something like that. I forget how it works. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII was another case of like, oh, this final boss is like so difficult. And I just like breezed through it because I over-prepared to an absurd degree. Like an absolutely ridiculous like degree of planning that was completely overkill for how difficult the fight actually was. And it was an interesting experience. And again, part 2 of this story, my first FF7 experience was actually Advent Children. It was not FF7 proper. I'd literally seen the movie that requires intimate knowledge of FF7 before actually playing FF7. So I saw Advent Children and thought, this fight scene is cool. There was like nothing plot-wise that I understand in this movie. So yeah, teenage me made interesting life choices when it comes to Final Fantasy. Then my first Final Fantasy ended up being 13. Well, it looks like Luigi's fighting Bowser. I should have done a prediction, actually. Not like I have anything else to use channel points on. The movie's more accessible. That was back when you could just look up a movie on YouTube, too. You know, you're preparing for everything. You play every RPG under-leveled. See, we'll get to Xenoblade stories, and frankly, I've talked about a few of them on Star's streams. If you've managed to catch those. But yeah, I over-prepare a lot in RPGs. That's just how I play these games. I still have fun with them. Like, I feel like a lot of, like, advice tends to be, oh, don't over-level, because then you'll just breeze through everything. But I still enjoy, like, Xenoblade if I'm over-leveled or overpowered. Frankly, everything in Xenoblade is so spongy that being over-leveled doesn't really matter, in my opinion. That almost worked. I was trying to bait him over the small gap, but it didn't quite pan out. Shit. That's not great, actually. That's actually kind of bad, because getting out of this pit is gonna be... Never mind. By the way, you can actually die, even after this, because you're still in full control. You can just jump into the pit if you want. Obviously, I don't recommend, but that is something you have to look out for. Imagine, like, getting world record and accidentally falling into the pit. Like, how heartbreaking would that be? Anyway, that's Mario 3. We have saved the princess once again. What, third time in this little retrospective? Unfortunately, they got rid of the dialogue here. In the original, she says, like, the princess is in another castle. Just kidding. Or be Joker, where he died to a fireball as Bowser fell to his death. Oh, I think I've seen that clip. New speedrun category? That would be a very funny speedrun category. To just make like an arbitrary category. Like, I have the world record of like Bowser pit percent. We actually have credits. I don't think Mario 3 original had credits. It just showed like the worlds basically. So yeah, it's kind of interesting actually, you know, not crediting developers is not entirely a new thing for Nintendo, not saying that's a good thing, obviously. They should credit everybody. But a lot of times they just credit, like in a lot of remakes actually, they just credit new staff on the remake and not on the actual, like, original. They'll just have a blurb being like, original staff. And it became much more of an issue during the Switch era, but it's kind of been a problem, like, for longer than that, I feel. Because, like, it got pointed out with Metroid Prime Remastered, but it was also a problem for, like, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It was an issue for, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Like, basically almost every remaster of the Switch era has just said, like, original staff, and not actually listed the staff. Meanwhile, you have the Sonic Colors route of, let's make the credits 30 minutes long, because we are doubling the length of it. So I feel like there's an inherent fix. The obvious fix to this is just allow you to speed it up. Because, like, I think they should credit everybody. Yeah, like, here's a good example, original SMB freestab, but this isn't a new thing to the Switch era. Like, this has just been a problem Nintendo's always had, for some reason. This problem with Repack. I never played Pac-Man World. I think my only experience with Pac-Man World was in a dentist office, where they had, like, a GameCube setup. Beyond that, I've never actually played those. I should. I hear they're alright games. But that, is a wrap for Super Mario Bros. 3. Again, actually I should save my thoughts for one moment, because there's one more thing I want to talk about. We got a little special, scene here, because it's Bowser's Castle. You actually have a world map in this version, unlike in the original, though, where you actually get all, P-Wings for your inventory. You don't get that in this. But this is kind of designed as like a new game plus, where you can go back and like perfect clear all the worlds if you haven't already. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, you can like replay every stage if you so desire. So again, kind of nice. I used to just play my favorite levels from like a completed file. Again, I got up to like 99 lives by doing that. And also, you have the ability to permanently save after beating the game, rather than just a quick save. Again, not an issue in NSO, you can quick save anywhere, or permanently save anywhere. The other big draw of NSO and Virtual Console versions of this game are level card. This is the e-reader levels, and they actually do include every e-reader level. Maybe someday on stream I'll go through all these, because some of them are really interesting. But given that this already took longer than I was hoping it would, I think I'm actually going to just wrap up here. Just for the sake of time, but just to point it out, because it's a cool little detail that you do have access to every e-reader level. So again, I think that kind of makes this the definitive edition of Mario 3. Actually, yeah, the music's nice. Let's sit in this screen. I'll just ramble about the game a little bit. So yeah, Mario 3 is a game that is very important to me. I've played this game countless times on GBA especially, because it's a comfort game. It's a game I can finish relatively quickly. It's a game I can just kind of breeze through, not too much trouble, I say, as I died a lot more than I thought I would in this playthrough, but, you know, that aside, this was a pretty smooth playthrough, all things considered. It's just nice being able to revisit this game. It's nice being able to share my appreciation for this game, talk about a bunch of little details of it, show off some level of skill at this game. Again, not as much as I would have liked, but it's fine. So yeah, it's just kind of nice to revisit. And again, with all the Mario games we've gone through this year so far, Mario 1 through this, these are all games that mean a lot to me. Again, having grown up briefly with an NES and then a GBA after, not too long after, like a year or two, I'd say. I also had a PS1, we'll get to that later. I have a plan for PS1, and also more Game Boy Color stuff. But a lot of these games are just, like, very deeply nostalgic to me, like, being able to remember level layouts, the music, the atmosphere. I think it's just kind of nice to revisit the old favorites from time to time, especially with how like tumultuous everything has felt in recent months, recent years, really. And I'm glad to be able to like share this with everyone else through streaming. It means a lot that, you know, that people are able to show up when they can, hang out. But I kind of like, I enjoy this a lot, and again, I would like to get more consistent for streaming for two reasons. One, to get through this list of childhood games faster, and also to start doing other types of streams, game clearing, multiplayer, just all sorts of different stuff. So hopefully at some point in 2025, I'll be able to get back onto a more consistent streaming schedule and be able to share my enjoyment of these games and future games too that I haven't ever played before. Again, I wanted to play Mario 3 before I jump into a game clearing option, so we might be starting that before too long. Again, for the Childhood Favorites series, I don't know what's next, because again, I could do something special I have planned. I could jump into Pikmin, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Yeah, this is still a game. Again, I've said so much about this game already, but I will always have a deep appreciation for this game. This probably kind of solidified my love of gaming in a way. I like Mario 1, and I thought Mario 2 was very hard, but still enjoyed some aspects of it. But Mario 3 is the first of the original trilogy that I, like, thoroughly enjoyed at this level. And it kind of solidified me as, like, a Mario fan. And yeah, for this, like, Fox Girls Favorites, as I've dubbed it, series, I guarantee this is not the last time we'll see Mario pop up. We'll definitely go through, again, I think I might move on to the 3D ones next. So next one for Mario will probably be Sunshine. But again, might take a break from Mario for a little bit for the sake of variety. Yeah, it was fun going through all the games again. Mario Deluxe is definitely rough around the edges because of the limited screen real estate. But it was fun getting to actually finish a version of Lost Levels without save states for the first time. It was not a clean run in the slightest, but... And also I used warps, but it was still a lot of fun. And again, surprisingly not that frustrating, because it just felt like a nice little challenge. Like, maybe I've gotten better... I've hopefully gotten better at games than, like, when I was 5. But it definitely felt like I was able to just kind of patiently work out what the game was throwing at me in a way that I was very much enjoying, actually. Despite Lost Levels having a very notorious reputation of being very difficult. I mean, Mario 2 is another game that I have a lot of nostalgia for, even though it's not as much of a favorite for me. Mostly just, I find it very difficult. But again, now, and also with the GBA version having more forgiving health and live systems in place, yeah, that was a lot of fun to go through Advance again. But Mario 3 will always be my favorite, even in comparison to, like, World or anything after this point, really, because, like, I like Wonder, I even like New Super Mario Bros., but I still say Mario 3 is my favorite, and yeah, is that nostalgia? To some extent, probably, to some level, but still, this is just a very fun game, and one that means a lot to me. I feel like I rambled a bunch there. I don't know how coherent that outro would have been, because again, I am planning to cut this up for, like, YouTube and put up there. It was part of the reason why I did this with a little bit more fanfare and, like, less motion. Yeah, that probably wraps us up for tonight. Also, this version does have Mario Bros, but, you know, we don't need to cover this again, we already did last week. Alright, so wrapping up, first of all, thank you all for stopping by, thank you Roto again for the raid. Next stream will hopefully be Wednesday. If not Wednesday, it might be like Thursday. I might try to throw in an extra on Thursday. And yeah, we might start like a first time playthrough. We might start Kitsune Tales at some point. Again, next Fox Girls Favorites will be Pikmin more likely than not. Or, I'll say it now, Abyss Hawk Shuffler of a bunch of really crappy licensed games I grew up with as a child, but mostly like Disney and Muppets and stuff of that nature. But, like, not even good versions of, like, these games. But I'm not gonna spoil any of them. Here, at least. I've talked to friends about this in like calls, but yeah, I have plans. This is a cursed-ass list of games, so I'm excited to show that off at some point. But yeah, well, we might start with some new games soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And I hope everyone else is looking forward to that too. But yeah, Kitsune Tales is probably first up on the docket of game clearing for the year. But again, I wanted to get through the games that inspired it first, just to have a baseline of why this game is so me-core. So yeah, maybe try to throw in an extra stream this week if I'm feeling up to it. A lot of us have cursed favorites, yeah, that's true. Like, I was talking to friends was it last night? I think it was last night about, like, you know, Qbert and stuff like that. And that's on the list to give away one. And Frogger PS1 was another one that came up like, oh, you grew up with this too, huh? And it's like, yeah. So yeah, doing this as a shuffler is probably a horrible idea. I'll probably take a certain amount of psychic damage from this. So yeah, look forward to that in the future. It'll be a very cursed list of games, and we're probably not finishing any of them, except one game that's like 20 minutes long. And that's if the shuffler is very nice to us. Do we want to do a raid? Because I almost have a... I feel like... Oh... I had two ideas for raid messages. One is sacrilegious and the other is not, but based on something I said earlier. Because, like, for a non-sacrilegious raid message, there's like, oops, all fire flowers, because we would only get fire flowers from mushroom houses. On the other hand, I did make a joke about, like, not being able to finish this game as a child because of a Christianity debuff, and I'm like, I almost want to raid with Christianity debuff just for the reaction to it. But I'm not sure if that would go over well is the problem. So that's why I'm torn. Like, I might be... I was thinking about raiding John, just because... I feel like I raid John with cursed raid messages constantly, though. Because I feel like I know he'll be okay with it. He is live. I wanted to raid John last week. I had a really good raid message last week, too. And then he started really late. That's why you do it, because it's funny. Ah, heck it. We'll see how this goes. This might ruffle feathers, but who... We'll see how it goes. Wow, this is convoluted. Either way, we're definitely raiding John. A funny max sacrilege, okay. I'm trying to type this out. That's caps lock. So I guess this is our raid message if we're going max sacrilege. Yeah, thank you all for stopping by, thank you for watching. Again, hopefully we'll get back to 2 streams a week before too long. But if not, we'll definitely be back sometime on Monday to hopefully start something different than just a lot of Mario. But yeah, with that being said, I think that's everything I had to say. Oh yeah, you can find links to my channel below, and there are also commands for like social. I think that works. Oh, this works? I need to get better at using commands. I don't think that actually works. Do I have Nightbot even on? I probably should have checked that first. But either way, yeah, good night everybody, and take care.